Hello, and welcome to the Parental Advisory
Strange South collaboration podcast episode.
We are two dads,
two moms, and one cat mom
with a love for movies and
Southern folklore.
Join us as we have a drink and talk about this week's feature presentation,
Where the Crawdads Sing.
Everybody, thank you for joining us. This is a special Parental Advisory Movie Podcast with our guest, The Strange South, that is also releasing it on their podcast as well. So we're calling it a collaborative episode.
Woo woo.
So
Yes.
Thank you, Patrice, Marleah, and Courtney.
Thank
Thank
you.
for joining
you,
Patrick
Jeff
and
and
I.
Patrick.
We're excited.
We are excited.
Yay.
Woo.
So I guess we could start this how they normally start it. Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Patrick.
Hi, Jeff.
Hi,
Hi.
Jeff. Hey, Courtney. Hey,
Jeff.
Marleah.
hey everyone.
What a great week and a great episode for us to do this movie, Where the Crawdads Sing, based on the book, best-selling book, I think, 118 million copies. Well, Reese Witherspoon, Nashville native, also, has put this on her book list, so therefore it blew up like hot sauce. I don't know if hot sauce blows up, but I guess if you leave it out in the sun. I guess if you leave it out in the sun too long, it will.
Yep. In those barrels.
Yes. Thank y'all for joining us. This is gonna be fun. So we'll just do like we normally do and just ask. We'll ask everybody what's new. Whoever wants to go first. What is new? What have y'all got going on?
Wow. Like in life or professionally?
Yeah.
Because like
Sure.
in life,
That kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah, well, I'm deep.
Just-
I'm like deep into the TikTok deep cleaning stuff.
Oh,
Have y'all
wow.
ever like watched deep cleaning your house on TikTok?
No.
Oh my god.
I don't even have TikTok.
I am obsessed. Like I just sit there and watch people just scrub the shit out of their house.
I would rather watch them do it than do it myself.
Exactly. But it's motivated me.
So that's what you're doing.
That's what I've been doing. I'm gonna spend the next 2 weeks like deep cleaning my house. Which means probably the next 2 days.
I was going to say 2 whole weeks you've devoted the last of your summer to this.
Yes. I know. I should be like kayaking or doing something fun.
We're going to do
right?
that. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's in the plans.
So Ruth is always her favorite, I guess, coping. I don't know. That's a good way to word it. Through the whole pandemic is getting lost in TikTok. Which is when I started buying, earbuds to have just by the bedside. I am all for her because that brings her joy. I am 100% supportive of that. However, it reminds me of when my brother and I were still living with my mom. I was like junior high school, and he would get in charge of the remote to flip through channels. And it's just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, that's
Like
true.
he never keeps it. It's never long enough for you to actually see what's on there.
Nope.
And it drove me up the wall. I bought an earbud, so I keep one in one ear, and then I put something on the iPad to watch, and then she has her thing, I'll have mine. And,
And that's how you keep a marriage.
Compromise.
I'm about to say-
Separate earbuds.
I'm about to say marriage. It's very romantic. But I always tell people I'm too old for TikTok. I said,
Same.
it's like, have you seen this on TikTok? I said, no, I'm too old for TikTok.
But I watch the old people on TikTok. That's the key.
I know.
If you watch
Well,
the
see,
old
that's the
people
thing.
on TikTok, that's perfect.
That means there's going to be a new app that's going to take over soon because
Yes, because we're already there.
As soon as us adults invade,
Join, they're
the
going to
cool
leave.
kids.
I only see
Yes,
TikTok
they're
on
gonna bounce.
Facebook like the other old people.
I only
the
see
post.
it whenever my friends send me a text message with a
the
TikTok
link.
video.
Yeah.
And I have to open it on Safari.
Same as me, but Patrice is always
Yep.
that friend.
I'm like, oh.
I am.
Marleah, what's new?
Oh,
Anything?
what's new with
Are
me? I don't know. I'm I'm in a weird waiting zone. I'm like gearing up for a bunch of other stuff to happen. Like we've got people coming to visit this weekend, and then we're going to North Carolina for a couple days, and so I'm just in waiting mode. I spent the last weekend doing yard work, all kinds of exciting stuff.
Like a
I cut down
ton of trees.
I cut down a shit ton of trees. I went all lumberjane and was like hardcore, just like. And Randy actually got home from, I don't remember where he was, but the first day I was doing it, I got up really, really early because, you know, it's hot as balls outside. I got up at like 7 a.m. and went outside, and I had worked like 2 hours, and he had gone somewhere and come back. And when he got back, I had a hacksaw and my shoulder up against a dead tree. And he's like, "You're not supposed to do it like that." And I was like, "It'll be fine." It's just like, sure, it'll be fine. So I just ended up basically knocking this tree over with my shoulder after hacking halfway through it. And then I looked up and he was like, "You see what that is? That's called a widowmaker branch that is about right over your head." That was just hanging from another tree that had come off of this one when I knocked it down. And he was like, "You're not supposed to do that."
Yeah, Betsy, that's what I was like. That's funny.
So,
God.
taking my life in my hands.
How exactly? How are the kids? Are they doing any camps or anything?
They've done one sleepaway camp, which is Coco's first one, and they had a good time. It was like a woods, you know, they did kayaking and
4-H, right?
4-H, yeah, it was 4-H camp. And they did a cooking camp, which was just a 4-hour, 5-hour camp, and then they've got an art camp on Tuesday, and that's the end of their camps. So,
okay, nice.
Mostly they're spending their summer sleeping until 1.
Yeah, like they should.
Mine are older than yours, so
they're teens.
Yeah, well, I mean, and York's doing the same thing. Yeah, York's doing the same thing, except he's got 3 books he has to read by the time school starts because
3.
That's what happened. 3 that he has to have done, and I think one's a project. It has to have a project on one of them, and I think 2 essays. Basically, an essay on the other 2.
Oh my God, our education sucks down here.
Oh, I know.
Like my kids don't hardly have to do nothing.
It's because he's going to a magnet school, so they have they have, you know,
higher standards,
bougie like that. Yeah, higher standards. That's what I call it. But meanwhile, Grayson doesn't have Jack, and she's just chilling. She's going. Nice. She goes to her gymnastics place that she usually does aftercare at, and so she gets to just hang out with her friends there all day for a week.
Amazing.
So yeah, yep.
Cool.
Courtney, how about you? Anything?
Yeah. Well, summer's always big for me. Well, it was until pandemic, and now it is again because one of my main responsibilities at the university is to direct a summer bridge program. So every summer I have recent high school graduates descend upon me for 6 weeks. So I have 35, 17, and 18-year-olds that we teach every day. They have 3 courses. They start at 8 in the morning and go till almost 5. We have events for them, and this week is our last week. Our last full week. I almost survived it. So it's a lot of, you know, high school stuff. We've already had to go to community standards a few times for who's sleeping with who and sending pictures of this and that and threatening each other, you know, that kind of high school stuff. Lots of social media kind of, but it's better than most years. It's better than the last 2 years. So if we make it through this week, and then we'll have a big picnic for them on next Monday, and have awards, and then they'll go home for a month and come back in the fall. So yeah, that's why I have no children. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know what they're like. I decided against it since I have to raise all these other ones or help raise them.
And all of that while you're teaching them how to play bridge. That's pretty.
No, that's right. It's all about bridge. We do throw a little poker in, you know, on the side.
Played bridge?
No,
that shit's hard.
I don't know how to.
It is like complicated. No. There are rules.
No, I can't play games like that.
Yeah. I don't know about it. We did talk about starting a poker group though teach the kids how to hustle now.
My daughter, but Coco can kick ass.
Got to pay off the student loans.
Yeah, I believe that.
Well, you got to help them. You got to help them so they can pay off the student loans a little bit quicker.
That's right. They need to. We did get a grant this year though, so we helped. They got scholarships. All those who were accepted are getting around $2,000 scholarships. So that was good for them.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
yes.
But it's
agreed.
students who maybe need a
Agreed.
little extra help,
Awesome.
so they're going through the bridge program to get ready for fall. So yeah, not the bridge playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I'm doing.
Patrick, my friend, what's going on? What's new?
Not that's normal, boring work week, but I did get to take my daughter to see Jurassic World Dominion yesterday. Finally got to do that. And my life's pretty boring, but for her, she's been still working.
You
her
know
job at
what?
McDonald's.
When nothing
Yeah.
is going on, that is like the best. It's like when
Yes.
things are boring, it's
love it.
because nothing's blowing up in your face and you're not having to deal with it. To me, that's just
I love it.
peace. Yes, me
Yep.
too.
I love it. I enjoy it. And she's still working at McDonald's. She's not liking it because I guess she started to see now just how crazy people can be.
Oh my.
But she's keeping it. She's getting a dose of the real world.
Mm-hmm.
But she's gonna try to hold on to it when school starts back in a couple weeks. Goes back on the 3rd. And
That's
Mhm.
early.
Yeah.
God.
yeah, it surprised me.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, my week's just been a normal, nothing too much happening, thankfully.
That's yes.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome.
always good to start in
Uh,
customer service work from experience, like you just
Yeah.
appreciate
Yes,
things so
yes.
much more after you've had to do work like that.
Yeah.
In my
Mhm.
my experience anyway.
That's true.
Yes. That's how I started too. Was McDonald's, 1995.
Oh
making
yeah.
$4.25 an hour.
Mhm.
Because
Wow.
making that big mug. Yeah, big
Yeah.
bucks.
I remember when minimum
Um,
wage was that. I was
but
working
yeah.
at a grocery
Yep.
store then that
Mhm.
year.
Yep. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I did that for a little bit, but yeah, it definitely teaches a lot of skills and people
Mhm.
skills. I think the only thing that's actually prepared me better with how to deal with people, besides working customer service, which I mean, having worked it has done nothing but give me more. I think it gives me more. I mean, not more respect, but it enhanced knowing that I've worked it. Whenever I have to go any
Mhm.
sort of service industry thing, I always tip at
Mhm.
minimum 20,
Oh, I
25%.
know. Yeah.
Same
Yeah.
here. Same.
So, but the only thing that's actually prepared me probably as much, if not more, is working in a jail. And that
Mhm.
that
wow.
will teach you real
Yeah.
quick how to talk to people, so you don't get your ass kicked, more or less.
How to and
And
how not
also,
to.
yeah, how to and how not to, and it's the how to's works out a lot better for you than the how not to, because but that too, helps you with how to talk to people and basically just get a better worldview of what
Mhm.
people are going through
Yep.
through a different lens. It's very interesting.
I can
So,
imagine. Yeah.
it's it's weird if you treat people like people. Oddly enough, they leave you alone,
Mhm.
Mhm.
Oh wow. Yeah.
and they are a lot easier to be around because you're making their life a little bit easier by treating them like a human. It's
Mhm.
crazy stuff.
It's crazy.
All right.
What about you?
yeah.
What's your new news?
Let's see.
This
We
week.
just got back. So when we recorded last week, I had just gotten back. We had visited my family in Missouri.
Mhm.
Oh, okay,
Um,
yeah.
And so it was a good trip and everything. So this week is us trying to recoup and trying to get back in the swing of things. And like I was telling Patrick, so York had finished his first book, and I told him because his second one that he's reading, I forgot the title of it, was 50 pages longer than this first one. It took him forever to get through the first one. And I'm trying to keep him on track so that he's not feeling rushed and having to hurry up and get everything done at the last minute,
Mhm.
like last year. So I told him, I said, if you read 35 pages every single day, you'll have this book done in a week. So
Mhm.
by the time this drops, he should be done,
Good.
or at least almost finished. And he'll have his last book, which is Holes, which they did Disney did a
Yeah.
movie on with Shia. So that'll be his last book that he has to read. And that one I think is the longest by like 20 pages.
That's a fun.
And I told him if you
imagine
still
that's a
read
fun
30
book, though.
Yeah, I think that's I think that's going to be the one he's going to end up enjoying the most.
Yeah.
Again, I can't remember the name of the second one. The first one's right here because I'm recording in his room. It's Haddix, or no, it's Among the Hidden by Margaret Peterson Haddix.
I don't know.
Let's see here. Yeah, it's the first book in the Shadow Children sequence. Apparently 2.5 million books sold. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. So he told me about it, but of course now it's been a week. So he's getting through that. He's also he's still doing his Krav Maga and doing really well. He's actually going to be, when this drops, it'll be that afternoon, or this afternoon when it drops, Monday, he'll be helping teach Grayson's Krav Maga class because the instructor will be out. So the person they'll be teaching and asked if York would help her, be her assistant, more or less, for Grayson's class.
I bet Grayson, is she excited or is she like, ugh?
Oh, as soon as she found out, she like jumped up and down. She's like, yes. So
that's so
and
cute.
York loves helping, and he's kind of the helper even just in his class. So this will be, this is gonna be it's gonna be great. So get to take videos, because I usually take videos and then post them on our family Facebook group page. So like all the family members that don't, that can't come, but can still follow their progress and see them, excel at stuff. So
that's good.
And then let's see, we found out last night, Grayson's Meet the Teacher is August 4th.
Dang.
So it's Meet the Teacher. Yeah, Meet the Teacher. Well, they start early here. We started, I know, August 7th, I think last year is when they started.
Ours is the 11th, and I thought it was early.
Way too early.
Yeah. So, well, I remember growing up when we lived in Dallas that we started the Tuesday after Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Yeah, that's what ours
Labor
was
Day
always.
Labor Day was
and then we go through like 1st of June. I mean, shoot, I graduated high school June 5th.
Yep, I graduated June
these kids
16th.
Boom. See?
Yep.
And now here we are. It's like they're getting out second week in May. It's just.
I know, and I'm never
crazy.
Ready for that. I'm like, nope, it's not time yet. I'm not ready.
Yeah, you have to like have your summer camp plans or summer plans ready.
Yeah, by April.
spring break.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Yeah, and then Grayson's doing well. She's excited about your teaching Krav. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else she's got going on. But that's about it. We had lunch with our friend Aaron, who actually, when Grayson was first born and we couldn't get into any childcare, she would come over. I think we got her on one of those websites. I forgot. I don't want to give the wrong one, but I found her on the service.
Craigslist.
And so she would come over. Yeah, I can't remember. Yeah. But basically she would come over and basically babysit Grayson while I was upstairs sleeping because I worked midnights. And so and we've stayed friends ever since. And then she went on to go teach honors English and stuff like that. And so now she's got a baby. And so we actually had lunch with her today, and her baby's like 8 months old now, and Grayson's 7. Or as Grayson puts it, I'm basically 8.
Basically.
It's like slow down there for tense. All right, so I'm basically 8. Okay, you're bless your heart.
Listen, man, my kid was
so we got to
9
have lunch
for a
with her.
whole year
Yeah.
before she was 9 because I just forgot how old she was.
And she told everybody Coco was 9. And then the other day she was like, she's only 10. And I was like, no, she's 11.
Oh,
I can tell you.
I feel that.
I'm sorry. Good.
That's hilarious. And then we went and saw the children's theater here had SpongeBob the musical. So we went and saw that. It was 70 minutes long, which is perfect because all the other kids around us were kind of getting antsy. And so was Grace, and she was like moving from me to moving to Ruth, like getting hugs and everything. And I'm like, no, it's all right. Yeah, I'm like, and then I'm looking at the time because I'm like, we need to get home because I got to record. And no, it was cute. It was super cute. The people that the performers were great. Everything was great. I mean, for as big of a production, or little of a production, I guess I should say, as it was, they did an excellent job, and would definitely recommend it if you live in Nashville to check out the SpongeBob musical at the Children's Theater.
Fun.
Oh.
That's yay. And then that's what we have new. Real quick, we'll move on to our TV talk. Have y'all been watching anything? Yes, TV talk. On the Parental Advisory Movie Podcast. Anyway, we're gonna save that as a soundbite, Courtney.
I'm glad I could help.
Just insert that in, and we'll just put that in. Have y'all been watching anything? Had time to watch anything?
I've been watching Tour de France.
Oh,
Tour de France.
Tour de France.
What is Tour de France? I mean, I know what you mean, the actual live event.
Yeah, I watched the race.
Okay. I thought there might be some kind of Netflix documentary or something.
Oh, yeah.
So every summer about this time, my husband because my husband cycles off and on, and he loves it. So we started watching it about 3 or 4 years ago, about this time every summer, and it's like the thing that we do together. And it's been really great. This year is the first time that they are going to do a women's Tour de France.
Oh,
ever.
Oh, nice.
It's like the first.
I had no idea.
I know. And it starts on the 24th. And
are they going to televise that like they televised the...
I hope so.
Cool.
So, so I'm really excited about that. So far, it's been, there's been wrecks and crazy shit happen. I mean, that's why we watch it, is because for the wrecks and the crazy shit that happens.
Well, it is. All those people get so close to the cyclists that it's just like they go down these windy roads and there's people like on top of them, like walking right in front of them, and it's crazy.
It's crazy. And just it's just the drama. We watch it for the drama, actually.
Just like everything. Hockey, baseball, cycling.
Right. Yes. Somebody throws a fit, we're like, oh yeah. So that's all we've been watching recently.
I don't think I've watched any new TV. We Courtney and I were trying to watch Gaslit, which is not new.
We're in the middle of Gaslit.
So good.
Yeah, we're enjoying that.
I think we have 2 episodes left of it, and it's really great. Yeah. Julia Roberts is great in it. I mean, she's...
Oh, yes.
And Sean Penn,
that entire cast is amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody. What's it? Shea Wingham? Is that how you say it?
Yes, Shea Wingham.
Oh my gosh. That mustache.
It's a good show.
I mean, they're just a bunch of bumbling fools.
Yeah. It is. And yet weirdly ominous.
I know.
Our always feeling.
So it's about the Watergate scandal about Martha Mitchell
and G. Gordon Liddy.
Yeah, being a whistleblower, and how they treated her and tried to call her crazy and drugged her up. It's pretty good.
Oh,
Julia plays her.
Julia Roberts plays her very well. Courtney disagrees with me on this, but I question the accent. Like, every once in a while she sounds like a Bronx mama to me instead of like the Southern. I think she's supposed to be from Texas.
She's got that Texas though.
Yeah.
I
She's
feel
pretty
like
good.
she squeezes in and out of it, and sometimes
Arkansas.
I'm just like, where are you at?
Oh yeah, Arkansas.
Is it Arkansas
and Texas.
Arkansas.
No, you're right. I think
Arkansas.
Arkansas.
Yeah. So I've been watching though.
Not Pupper, but
I've binged in the last 2 weeks Stranger Things.
Oh,
so I caught up and got it finished, and it was amazing. And then I know that last episode is like a whole movie on its own.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is. Literally
it was an entire movie length. It was so great. I did not want it to end. And then I've went back and watched something that had been out for a while, Midnight Mass, and I just finished it yesterday.
Oh my God, I love that show.
And it's really stuck with me. Even though it was so weird and it was horror, but it wasn't. And even until the last 2 episodes, it really didn't have like a lot of the gore or anything. It has stuck with me. I thought about it when I first woke up this morning.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It does that. It's amazing.
The Erin Green character, what happens to her at the end. I don't know if everybody's watched it, but.
So no spoilers, but.
Yeah. With the angel in her and what she's saying. Like, I woke up thinking about that again today. Mm-hmm. It was a pretty, I don't know what it is about it. I can't put my finger on it.
It's an intense show.
So, Midnight Mass and that. And I'm ready to binge the new season of What We Do in the Shadows.
Oh, yes, me too. I haven't started it.
Me either.
That's my next goal.
yes,
Same.
there you go. Gaslit has one of my favorite character actors, Chris Messina. He played one of the FBI agents again with the dorky mustache.
Mm-hmm.
He was in this. He's the one in this.
I know
he's
who
in
it
this
is.
great. Yeah, he's in this great independent film from some years back called The Giant Mechanical Man with Jenna Fisher, that was directed by her husband, Lee. I can't remember.
Jenna Fisher
Drawing a
from
blank
The
on the last name.
Office.
Yes, her husband. She's in it, and her husband directed it, and it's basically kind of like a independent love story between her and Chris Messina, and it's great. It's not a whole lot
we
of
know
people
him
have seen
from
it.
Sharp
It's so
Objects.
Yes, he's also really good in
is
that.
that
Oh
as well.
yeah, he was that.
officer.
Well, you know what? I always think of him as the guy from the Mindy Project.
A Mindy Project.
So,
yeah.
but
Yes.
yes, I love him. Yeah.
Yes, and then also from Midnight Mass, the main character, Hamish Linklater.
Yes.
I love him so much. He's
I do
in.
too. I do too.
He's in the newsroom, and I love him. He's another great character actor that just pops up and stuff. So anything he's in, like basically either one of them, anything they're in.
Oh yeah.
I don't even care if it's a story I'll be interested in. I'm still going to watch it just because they're in it.
Mm-hmm.
They could be in it for like 2 scenes, and I'll still watch the entire thing just in case. But yes, and so when Midnight Mass came out, I go, well, this is something. It's like I'm not sure what to think of this.
Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's
I'm
not like
sure what to
anything
think of
else.
this, but it's very dark.
Mhm.
Yeah. And another one I'm probably going to go back and rewatch. Patrick and I have talked about that's on Netflix that I really like is Archive 81.
Oh,
It's only
yeah.
one season. It's only one season. They canceled it, which I don't understand it because it's so good. It seems so Netflix. Like it's
Oh yeah.
just perfect.
I can't
to have,
remember if
like,
I ever watched the whole thing or not. I'll have to go back
it
and
is.
look at that too.
Yeah. It's one I even got Ruth to watch, and that doesn't happen too often. I'll be like, you should watch this. You'll like this. No, really. If you just put it on, I think you'll like it. And most times, like, okay, and then nothing. But then this is one she actually watched. And then she got sucked. And then she got sucked into it. And then
I think a lot of
you.
it is the name of the things.
Mm-hmm.
Because didn't you say like Arc 81?
Archive.
Archive.
Mhm.
81? I'm not going to watch that. Just based on the name.
But like, think of the X-Files. Would you have not watched the X-Files? It's
Well, X-Files may be a little bit different.
because it's got an X.
Because it's got an X. in it. So I'm telling you, I think it's the naming of a lot of these things. Because once I get like over my, bias or prejudice against what it's called, and I watch it, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is like the best thing I've ever seen. But again, it all goes back to just the name of it.
Then you forget the name and don't watch the
I
next
know.
season.
Well, and it's like we have a glut of choices, so they
Yes.
really do have to get you from the moment
They
that
do.
they
And if they like throw
can.
numbers in it, I'm gone. I'm just like,
Like,
I'm
this is
sorry.
about math.
Yeah, exactly.
Not going to do math in my binge watching.
This is Archive 81, so it's Archive 1 through 80.
yeah. It's kind of like Winter Part 6. Like, went to the video store after that movie came out. I can't find Winter 1 through 5 anywhere. I wish that was a joke. I legit, as a kid, went to the video store to find. That's like, well, if that's Part 6, where the other 1 through 5.
Yeah.
It's logic, man.
And yeah, it's just I was like, this is some bullshit right here. I was like, all right, well, I guess maybe they just don't have it in stock. It's a smaller video store, and they gotta make room
Video
for, I guess,
store
other
in stock.
Yeah.
So funny. What a
Yes.
world.
I know, right? Let's see. For us, we wrapped up watching Miss Marvel on Disney Plus.
Oh yes, Randy
this
watched
week.
that with the kids.
Yeah.
This is, and I've been telling everybody this. This is the most accessible movie, or not movie,
Series,
accessible
yeah.
Disney Plus series, like Marvel series. Of all the other series that Marvel has put out on Disney Plus, it's all been either kind of teen or tween and up, kind of geared towards them. But this is like, Grace is not going to care about Moon Knight
Mm-hmm.
or Hawkeye or
Loki.
Falcon and Winter Soldier. Loki, maybe not even that. It's just
Loki.
I've enjoyed all of them, but this is one. After watching the first episode, I got to watch this again and have Grayson watch it. I think she'll love it because it's about a teenage girl that kind of gets picked on. Then she discovers she has superpowers, and all this other stuff, and it's done in such a with vibrant colors, creative use of CGI and ways to express what's going on in the scene. And it's just a lot of fun too. There's a lot of good humor. Like it just shows kind of that awkward coming of age / origin story of a superhero, and done in such a great way. And I felt that this final episode kind of wrapped it up in a good way. There is, for anybody watching, there is a post-credit scene. Which I was wondering if there's going to be. They always
wait for those.
Which I was wondering if there's going to be, because there hadn't been in the previous 5 episodes, but in the last one, yes. Real quick, there's like this, 30-second, Patrick?
It's roughly. Quick. Yeah. I mean, it's not a blink and you'll miss it, but yeah. When
it is one that is important. You're going to want to see it though. So
yeah.
But yeah, it was worth it. It was awesome. Yeah, it was very good. I was very impressed. It's just a lot of fun. Grayson again loved watching it. It was good to finally have another show I could watch with her.
Yeah,
because that's not on. That's not not a version of That's So Raven or
Oh my
Raven's
God.
Home. Or,
Yes.
That's been what Ruth got her hooked on that, and which is fine, except it's the same. She'll find an episode she likes,
and it's the same one over and over and over again.
And I'm like, can we not? There's like 6 seasons. Like, move on. Can we not move on to another season, please? Please.
Yeah, I believe what you say about Miss Marvel, because it's hard for me to find shows that both of my kids will watch now. 14-year-old with completely different sensibilities than the 11-year-old, and they both sat down with Randy and watched made sure they didn't miss an episode. Like, they would sit down together every Wednesday and watch the latest Miss Marvel. And usually my 14-year-old cashes out, and they were completely into it. So yeah, it must be really good. I haven't watched it yet, but I want to.
There you go.
I think it's going to be one of the underrated shows.
Yeah, I think so too. And then I watched the 3rd season of The Umbrella Academy. Which
I did
definitely
too.
Not
we
for
did
kids.
too.
I haven't yet. I've got to.
It was a little slow up at the beginning. It was something.
I gave up on it.
Did you?
I did.
Well, see, the Umbrella Academy, every single season has a slow section, and that's why I've learned to build through it. Yeah, but that's.
I didn't like the dramatic change of Allison's character. It was too much for me. She went too far to the dark side for a while.
Ooh.
So I believe this is the first season that's actually not based on a graphic novel.
Okay.
The first 2 were based on graphic novels by Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance, and I think is it Gabriel Bad? And I think it's Gabriel Bad that does the artwork. So this is the first season not based on previous material.
I could,
If memory serves me correct. If memory serves me correct.
It was very different from the first 2, for sure.
Yes. And it still had the playfulness and the humor and all the action packed in it. It's just crazy difference in tone just going from watching Miss Marvel to going to Umbrella Academy. It's just like your brain's having a hard time figuring that one out. And I'm also trying to, because Patrick has watched the 3rd season of The Boys, and I was still stuck on season 2 because it's one of those that I watch, but I'm not really into, but I feel it's like really my thing. But I watch for the pop culture-ness of it. And so I'm kind of that way with like Walking Dead and Game of Thrones. Like I'll watch it if it's on, but I'm not like I'm not really invested in it so much that I can't wait till the next episode comes out type of thing. But I will watch it. So
There were some fun things in Umbrella Academy that I loved. Klaus's journey in this one. That was the best part, I think, of the whole series. Klaus and his history and going to the Amish country. That was all pretty fun.
Yes. That was really funny. I like, I would be fine with like a Klaus spinoff.
I would too. I would be fine with a Klaus spinoff.
Or just Klaus. Yeah, like a Five and Klaus road journey.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Oh my God.
Road journey.
That would
Lots
be fun.
of explosions would come from that.
Yeah, I know, that was fun though. I really liked that.
And then Grayson has decided, because her brother, and then like my brother, and as well as my brother and my nieces all watched, season 4 of Stranger Things. Grayson has decided she thinks she wants to watch it. And we're like,
that's
I'm
a little
sure about that. It's a little dark.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little dark. So Ruth let her watch the first episode, and she's like, it's gonna probably be scary, but it's fake, right? It's like, I mean, so she watched the first episode, but she was also playing with her dolls at the same time, which is very humorous. So I'm not. So I have a feeling she'll probably lose interest soon, which is fine with me. I'm like, you sure you don't want to watch Raven? The one time I'll actually say that. It's like, the movie Sea Beast on Netflix. We could watch that if you want.
Yeah, I saw that little preview.
Yet, but yeah, so we're gonna end up we're gonna end up watching that so we can talk about it next week.
Oh, cool.
So yep. All right. Patrick, did you watch anything else before we move on? I didn't want to forget you.
I did watch the Resident Evil series on Netflix.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'll say it's probably Resident Evil in name only, even though they do sprinkle some things in there from the game and everything. But I liked it since I finished it. There's something about it that I did like, but it's not the best representation of Resident Evil. I did enjoy it more than the movie. I don't know if that's saying anything.
The latest movie, right?
Yeah, the latest movie.
The most recent. Okay.
Yeah. But I think this series would have been better if it wasn't named Resident Evil and it just been what it basically is generic monster zombie teen drama.
I like that name.
I was going to say that'd be a good title.
Right.
Wait. Hold on. Patrice, does that title work for you?
Yeah.
Monster zombie teen drama.
Generic monster zombie teen drama.
Yes.
Yeah.
No
About to say, if that
numbers.
works for Patrice, then we should probably go
That's
with it.
what we're
No
going to
numbers.
go with. All right. Writing it
Is
down.
It's accurate. You can hashtag it.
But yeah, that's the only thing. It's Resident Evil in name. I mean, there's character or two that are mentioned. One that's in it.
Well, there's so much that's happened with Resident Evil. Like, I remember being on board like the first 2 movies, and then after that, it's kind of like Jaws. It just or what's another movie that's just had, or one of the Jason movies. It's just like
It just goes on and on.
it just goes on and on. But I love zombie movies, so
Same.
You would think I would watch it, but I haven't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
True story. Okay. So real quick, for those that haven't listened to your most recent episode, let them tell our, I guess it would be for our listeners, if you remember.
What did we talk about?
We
We haven't talked about the
like-
fact that
you know
we
what?
always start
It's like-
drinking before we start talking, which we've all finished our drinks tonight.
And
know.
also, like, that
both just-
episode was like 3 episodes ago. We've already got like several episodes, so we're all trying
What
to
was
go.
released?
We just
Okay,
frantically all
here we
checked
go.
our phones, like which
So-
one? It was the other goat man and puppet sex and violence.
Puppet sex.
That
Yes.
was the.
Violence, yes.
Do you want a synopsis? Do you,
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
well,
I guess, or you can give like a Cliff Notes version, whatever you want.
it
which
was like
I guess
it
is
was.
a synopsis.
I guess it was characteristic of our general episodes because when we do a show format where Patrice and I each tell a story, and usually it's folklore or some kind of Southern oddity or a historical thing that we found strange and interesting. So, that's the Strange South. So usually it's always going to be something kind of weird. But so this past episode was episode 105, and I talked about the I'm going to try and say this with definition. The Pope Lick monster.
Pope Lick.
From Pope Lick, Tennessee.
Pope Lick,
no, Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
And Patrice talked about all the weird, creepy stories of puppets and Jim Henson.
Yes, leading into Jim Henson. That was the thing, because a lot of people don't know that Jim Henson is actually from Mississippi. And so Kermit was also born in Mississippi.
Oh, Kermit was born.
No.
So, yes, that's our most recent episode.
Okay.
Where do you
I
get
had
from
the
there?
thought, and then I had the thought, and then the thought escaped me, and shame on me. And then before that was episode 104, which was the Tennessee's cat cult.
Yes.
Oh, the cat cult.
Which I do have a relative that lives in Columbia.
Oh.
And I'm not. But okay, by that I mean. And I mean that in the loosest of terms.
Relative.
So let's put it that way.
Unquote.
So it's my stepmom, Peggy. It's her brother that lives in Columbia, and so I've only been there one time.
Uncle.
And that was when. Yeah. And so, and I think I feel like I know somebody that works as an officer out in Columbia. I just got to remember who it is, because I'm going to try and find out where this is at. Like, it's like one of those like side missions, so I could find like where it's at, or at least where this lady is. So I can at least try.
Be careful.
So I can at least try and get pictures.
Yes.
Like at least find
yes.
get pictures.
Yeah. We'll take them.
That's awesome.
And so I was like, I'm like, all right. Because I'm listening to this, I'm like, okay, I got to find out where this is at, because this is nuts.
It's just
this
the
lady
most
is nuts.
bizarre.
Yeah, it is
40,
bizarre.
40 cats.
Per
40
house.
cats and people that are allergic to cats that are doing this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
And they're not like healthy
that's
cats.
a tip.
No, they're sick cats.
They're
No.
sick cats. And they're working full-time day jobs.
How? Listen, I am cat sitting for a friend, and I love these friends very much. And they cat sat for CC for me when we were going to Italy. But just one of them needs a pill every time they eat, and I can barely make that happen. I can barely get one cat to take a pill, like when I'm helping cat sit, much less have 40 cats
40
on
cats.
ventilators or whatever they're on.
Right?
Kitty ventilators.
It's just, well, and just think of how many litter boxes. Oh my God.
I can't.
Like,
You got,
like,
you
I,
are constantly
I hear 40
changing
cats,
them.
and I'm thinking, yes. And I'm just like, that smell. I'm just like,
It's just your
even
whole
a clean
floor.
litter
You
box
just
has
throw
a,
litter
Oh my
down on the
God.
floor.
I know, right?
Urine smell.
and it's just.
Oh, I know.
dust.
See,
Yeah,
Patrick,
and
that's
it's
what I was
just
thinking. I was like, all
Yeah.
the hairs inside my nose would have burned off from all that acid smell in those houses.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No,
dust. So,
the litter alone.
but yeah, I am going to try and
no
find that.
No potluck for them.
No, man. Oh, God.
No, thank you. And then the episode before that, you covered Gwen Shamblin from the way
Yeah.
down.
Yes. Yeah. Patrice has been like
that I told
cult
y'all
crazy.
that y'all need to.
Yes.
Yes. Well, and I was like, y'all got to cover this because this is right up your alley.
Mhm.
I'm like, I'm watching this docuseries that we're going to talk about on ours, but you all need to look at this because it's crazy. So, not 5 minutes from where I live is the Percy Priest Dam. So when they said the plane went down in Percy Priest, I'm like, well, what part?
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a giant lake.
Holy cow.
So I'm like, did she like crash over here by me, or did she, or is it further? But it's in Smyrna, which is about a 30-minute drive, give or take.
Oh,
you know,
not
down
far, though.
24.
Oh,
No,
Smyrna,
it's
Tennessee,
probably-
not Georgia.
Yeah,
I'm
not
thinking
Georgia.
Smyrna.
That
Yeah, yeah.
confused me when we did
Yeah,
this.
not
Oh,
Georgia.
that's right.
Yeah, Smyrna, Tennessee, which is about a 30-minute drive down I-24. It's actually closer to Patrick's neck of the woods than mine, isn't it? Yeah, right.
I mean,
But
right.
just
so
imagine, like, the
hopefully-
people
Yeah,
that
yeah.
did the documentary, like, they've got it wrapped up. They're, like, sitting there editing it, and then they get the phone
Good.
call that, like, every top member, including Gwen, went down in a plane, and they're all dead. And knowing that they're all dead and that they have been preaching so hard that basically you reap what you sow,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
you know?
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, irony, karma. I don't know.
It's something.
Yeah.
So it's also my mission to now go find where the church is to see if I can at least get a picture of the church, because that's in Brentwood, which is where all the rich people live. All the hoity-toity Nashville people. Because Brentwood is right next to Franklin, which is where all the celebrities and everybody live. Down I-65 from downtown, about 25-30 minutes. So it's I'm like, how have I never heard of this?
Yeah,
like I mean, living in Nashville, I've never heard of this. I'm sure I remember the news, doing the story about it when it happened, but like all of this, I'm living where this is, and I have never heard of this.
You'd think just the existence of her hairdo would be like a disturbance in the forest.
You think there'd be billboards out there, right?
Well, that's what I thought. Because when I was listening to y'all talk, I was like, I'm getting to think here. Like, how could they must have a heck of a word of mouth campaign? Yeah. Because I don't remember seeing commercials or billboards or anything.
That is weird.
Like a suggestive type. Even like a not cryptic, but like one of those billboards that are kind of cryptic.
Yeah.
That. It starts out as one thing, and then at the bottom it has like a church.
At the bottom it has like, we're not a cult, really.
We promise we're not. So, but it's and then getting all that funding, and then that's like, and there's another one, not 20, it's close to where we used to live in Mount Juliet. If anybody's ever heard of how you haven't, I don't know, because he's nationally known. Greg Locke and his ministry, he's very anti-mask, very anti.
Don't know.
Anti-vax. LOCKE. I guarantee you look him up. That's a cult. He's building a compound right off of Lebanon Dirt Road. The pictures of the Sasquatch statue, it's like it's like a half a mile from that church.
Oh, okay.
Because I used to drive down there, and they dressed the Sasquatch statue up for whatever month or holiday, and I would post it on the page every now on the Strange South fan page every now and see how it's dressed up. Well, his church is like a quarter mile away from that, and they keep doing this. I said they're going to end up having red Solo cups here before too long. Like it's that kind of level of bonkers. So not that far off, but yeah, it's stupid, but whatever. Glad we're out of there. Happy we're out of there, but not everybody, thankfully, it's like that. But yes, I always enjoy, if I know I'm going on a road trip, and I know y'all have new episodes, I always stack them up because that makes my drive better. So y'all talk about stuff. So yeah. And we actually, Marleah, you can tell Randy, we actually thought about going to the Aurora Drive-In.
No way!
See a movie. Yeah, we were thinking about it, but we didn't have the time or could find, Actually, it was going to rain. That's what it was. Yeah. So we kept expecting it to rain because Aurora has the closest drive-in. So I used to go there when I was in high school and stuff. We would go out there and.
That still just blows my mind. It's such a tiny town that anybody else knew where it was. It was like, what?
Yeah. Well, and I found out today, somebody at work, his girlfriend is from Springfield, Missouri. Oh. And I'm like, oh my God, what high school? And then I'm like, what high school did she go to? And he's like, I don't know. I said, well, I'm curious. You'll have to ask, find out. And then he's like, yeah, well, she's 25. I'm like, oh, well, I probably know her parents then.
Exactly.
I was like, oh, I bet I'm probably with the. I said, well, then I won't know her, but I bet I'll probably know her parents then. So that's where we're. I was like, great, that's where I'm at now. We're at the. Whoa, they're that old? I probably know her parents.
Yep.
Oh, she's a nice girl. Okay. We probably ought to get around to actually talking about the movie here.
Can we take a break?
Do you want more Strange South every week? We can help. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can join our Facebook fan group, Fans of the Strange South Podcast, to keep the chat going with our whole creepy community. Do you have a story idea for us or a story of your own to share? Email us at stories@thestrangesouth.com. Plus, if you join our Patreon, you not only help support the podcast, you get an exclusive bonus episode for every show and a discount on merch. You can find links to all of these things on our website, thestrangesouth.com, along with photos, links, and show notes from every episode, Strange South t-shirts, mugs, and other goodies. See you there.
And we're back from our break. And we are going to the movie. Look at that. That's professionalism right there.
It's amazing.
Wait, we didn't record any of that. Oh, that was gold.
Oh, no, I did. I just, I'm good at separating right here. All right. So Where the Crawdads Sing came out this past Friday, the 15th, but I think early release was like the 13th.
We watched it on the 14th.
Mm-hmm.
Boom. And I watched it Friday night, 9:30.
Wow.
Showing. Yeah.
You can stay up that late. I can't stay up that late.
I know. Nobody said that. I just said that's what time I went to the movie. But there have been times where I have dozed off in movies, but wake up and, I'm still I'm not asleep. I can hear what's going on, but my eyes are not visually watching.
It was a long movie though. I was surprised at how long it was.
It was a long ride.
2 hours and 2 hours 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
PG-13, 2 hours and 5 minutes.
Seemed longer.
Yep. At times felt longer. Yep. At times did feel longer. This is based on the best-selling book by Delia Owens. We have a lot to say about her, but that'll be in the second part.
Okay.
Directed by Olivia Newman, and I believe this is her second. She's basically known for doing TV shows of FBI, Dare Me, the Chicago series, Chicago PD, and Chicago Fire. And she did one movie that's apparently on Netflix called First Match. It is produced by several people. Most notably is Reese Witherspoon. The trailer just happened to drop on Reese Witherspoon's birthday of March 22nd.
Surprise!
So a little bit of yeah, how about that?
Oh, wow.
Starring Daisy Edgar Jones, who was in the movie Fresh that we talked about. This movie Fresh is available on Hulu with Sebastian Stan. It was kind of a weird horror movie. Daisy Edgar Jones is Kaya Clark. Taylor John Smith is Tate Walker. Harris Dickinson is Chase Andrews, aka most people in certain parts of Nashville. David Strathairn as Tom Milton, and then Michael Hyatt as Mabel, and Sterling Macer Jr. as Jumpin'. And then Jumpin'. Alrighty. So the movie's about a woman who raised herself in the marshes of the deep South. It's not really that deep. I guess we'll just say North Carolina.
It's they call it low country, don't they?
The low country.
Yeah. There you go. Becomes a suspect in the murder of a man she was once involved with, which sounds a lot. Which honestly, that synopsis is probably one of the most basic. Yeah. It's basically it was written by someone that didn't read the book or watch the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Tell me what this movie's about. Well, it's the love story. What do you mean? Well, I mean, there's someone dies and there's a murder trial, but it's also a love story. But the love story, well, that's not going to be good for a July release. Can you have anything better? It's a courtroom drama. It's like, really? How much of the time is actually taking place in the courtroom? 2 hour, 5 minute movie, 15 minutes, maybe?
Yeah.
20,
maybe.
25.
Yeah, to be nice. So this is basically, and the way I see it, or the way, especially after listening to the audiobook of the, listening to the audiobook, I realized, by the time I got done, I had to look again. I'm like, are we sure Nicholas Sparks just didn't write a new book?
Oh my God! I thought the same thing.
I'm like,
yeah, it's very Nicholas Sparks.
Because it follows the Nicholas Sparks formula. It takes place in North Carolina, by the ocean, or at least by the sea, someone dies at some point in the movie, and then there's a love story that involves 2, possibly 3 people, and it's like the most non-believable kind of relationship.
And at the end, everybody's old.
Yes. And at the end, everybody's old. That is it. That follows the Nicholas Sparks formula. And so when it wasn't, I was like, are we just trying to? I mean, I guess that's
There's
fine.
There's a target demographic we're going for here.
Yes, it is. It is a very much target demographic to which I am a part of, because I've never. This is something that's kind of been known to our listeners, is that I am a sucker for a Nicholas Sparks book and movie adaptation, because when I was younger, I used to write creatively, and these are the kind of stories I was attempting to write but never succeeded. But I started out and never really could figure. I was always in a rush to be done, and never really bothered to actually really plan stuff out and really kind of see it through. I was just in a rush to hurry up and get done. So I never, And so but these were the kind of stories that I was trying to write, just not North Carolina, non-location specific, actually. So it was really interesting that they chose this. I was like, okay. So basically, it's about a girl that her father was abusive. Mom leaves, and then soon the rest of her siblings just get tired of his physical abusiveness, and they leave too, which leaves Kaya on her own.
When she's like 5.
She's the youngest.
Yeah.
And they don't take her. First,
and nobody
unbelievable
tries to take her.
I was like, that was messed up.
It was.
Messed up. That was my first problem. I was like, your baby sister. Come on.
I know.
Yeah.
Come on.
But yeah,
Nobody
so
tried.
she pretty much has to fend for herself in the marshes in North Carolina and essentially try and stay out of her father's way. You find out this takes place in her adolescent years are in the 1950s, and then her I guess young adult years are in the early 60s. So early to mid 60s.
60s, yeah.
Yeah. So you find out her dad is a war veteran, so that explains, I guess, the drinking, because he's trying to forget his past in the service, and probably World War II. Not quite.
Well, that makes sense.
Not quite Korea.
Korea was
think Korea was
1950, and
mid-50s.
I know there was a part she was 53. I mean, I don't know.
But
Probably
in the
World War
book,
II.
I think they said
Yeah.
World War II.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
makes sense.
so-
I mean, he's a total boomer, or she's a total
He's-
boomer, and he's World War II. So
Yeah.
Because the
So
trial said in
he's-
69, so
Right,
it was like 53 to 69 that we see her
Yeah.
life, I think is what it shows.
Yeah. And so they kind of show her growing up, trying to learn how to do things on her own, how to take care of herself, because he's obviously not going to do it. He could barely take care of himself. Actually, he can't even take care of himself.
there's no income coming in. There's no food.
No.
There's nothing. It is how she. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything. We'll talk about that later.
But yes, but she's trying to, basically to living off of grits, more or less, which I mean, as
Why is she
a
not
Southern
fishing?
transplant, nobody's fishing. How is nobody fishing?
Right?
She's clamming, though.
Or even,
She sells the
or
mussels.
yeah. She's I'm not a grits person, but that's probably because I'm from the Midwest and I'm still in the biscuits and gravy area. so I'm not we're still in that location, and not so much, for far enough that we're in grits country. And so to me, the word grits just sounds, you ever hear something, you're like, wow, that sounds gross, without ever having to try it. I know I sound like 6 or 7, right? I sound like Grayson. It's like, I don't like it. Well, you've never tried it. I don't like it.
You've
Okay,
never tried
that's-
it? Really? You've never tried it at all?
No,
No,
come
I've
on.
never tried it.
You need
Oh,
to. You need to
shit.
try it.
Shit.
Oh, see, this is
I don't
upsetting
love
now,
grits,
Jeff.
but they're not the worst. I mean, I don't even want to say that because I'm Southern, but I don't.
I love them.
Like, I think they need to
no.
like revoke your Tennessee.
Well, he's not from
you know what?
there.
Honestly,
Well, he
I'm
lives
okay.
there.
I'm okay with that. That's fine. Like, I'm okay with
Patrick, have you had grits?
Not often. Not like
Yeah.
But
cream
you
of wheat,
tasted
maybe the
them.
closest, but I've tried them. I
like cream of wheat better, I will say.
I don't.
I
do.
See, now that's the difference because I'm like, well, I don't think I would want to try cream of wheat because that sounds
Cream of
nasty.
wheat is
Cream
sweeter
of
than
wheat.
grits.
Yeah, it doesn't sound the greatest. Cream of wheat.
It's
But
all-
How do you get
why
cream
would
out of
wheat
wheat?
Butter
be
and
creamy?
sugar.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. I don't choose it. I never make them. I've never made them from scratch. I don't even know what
I
they're made
have.
of.
I made grits from scratch, and it's better than grits in a package.
Well, how do you make them from scratch?
You get stone ground. You got to get stone ground corn. I mean, you got to get the grit actually made.
You didn't take the corn.
I didn't take the corn and like put it in a like mortar and pestle.
She's out there churning grits at
Yeah,
home.
that's what I do. I'm a pioneer lady.
Well, she ate grits. But you know what? She was 5, and that's what she knew.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. I mean, when you're 5, I wasn't going to want to eat fish. I would rather have grits.
right.
Just
I'm
saying.
sorry,
Well,
dude.
'cause-
We're derailing your whole
Yeah.
thing.
Sorry.
No, you're not. This is exactly what I was hoping for, to be honest.
The grit argument.
Yes, the
grits are
the grit
okay.
War
talking.
of 2022.
And honestly, if I don't have somebody that at least lambasts me about something on our show, it's not really a successful show. Because we had a guest on one time that got on to me for changing the rules on our Valentine's episode.
Ah.
What were the
So
rules?
I was like, it was our romantic comedy, romance movies, and then I forgot what I said as one of my pictures. Like, well, it sounds like you're trying to change things to see your. That's it, calling me out. Okay, that's fine. I'm okay.
We're
with
talking romance on
If I'm-
Valentine's.
that. Yeah. So, speaking of which, Warehouse will be joining us next month, so stay tuned for that. I'm sure she'll have something new that she'll want to get on to me for, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, so she's having to take care of herself, and then she, I guess, when her dad's either away or asleep or trying to sleep off a bender, she takes the boat, goes out and explores nature in the area to kind of get away from him, and ends up meeting Tate, and they kind of are friends, but at the same time she's trying to stay away because they don't really trust anybody because her dad told her not to trust anybody, especially out in these marshes. And so there's a little bit there, and so she discovers nature and then the animals and all these things that are around her, collecting feathers of birds and of like things like that, and that becomes what she loves. Now she tries to go to school and ends up being called the Marsh Girl, and they're all picking her on for the way she's dressed, and and
Can I just interject
things
here?
like that. Yeah,
Something
please,
problematic,
interject away.
like in the childhood, because as a Southern girl that grew up in the country, that went barefoot for probably the first 6 years of my life, that girl was too clean.
Oh my God.
She was too clean to be living out in the marshes and to not be wearing shoes. I mean, I had a mother who, again, would, hygiene and all that. And I still, not only was I very dark and tan.
Oh, that's the thing, man. She was princess white.
Dirty. Like, my feet were dirty, my clothes were dirty, my hands were dirty, my nails were dirty, my hair was dirty. I mean, I was like wild child growing up. And that was like the instant, like, we saw her, it was problematic for me.
Well, the book was more she was dirty.
Yeah.
But it didn't focus on it either. I think some of the flaws of the movie came from the book. But I agree with you, though. She was dirtier in the book than the movie.
All right. Sorry.
We're getting to the
Agreed.
review part.
Sorry, I
Yep.
am. Sorry.
Yes. No, you're good. But yeah, and so the more I think about the movie, the more I'm like, she didn't have one mosquito on her. Like, not one mosquito bite.
Thank you. Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Second point, there's no bugs. Nobody was swatting flies or mosquitoes. Like my kindergarten picture, I have a mosquito bite dead center on my cheek. I can show it to you today.
I mean,
come on.
Yeah, because I step outside to take Charlotte out to go use the bathroom. I come back in with 3 new mosquito bites.
Oh yeah,
right. Yeah, and you're not in a swamp, a literal swamp.
And I'm in the suburbs. Yeah, I'm in the suburbs.
And I know she makes a big distinction in the book, and they opened the narration in the movie with this comment about the marsh and the swamp are different. But they're not different enough that mosquitoes recognize the difference. So I think that's notable. Also, no one sweat. One character in that entire movie sweat, and it was her drunk dad. Everybody else, it was like sweating was connected with like badness or something. But like the only person who sweat was her daddy. And he had like sweat stains like you would underneath his pecs on his shirt and on his chest and everything. He looked very realistic. And when I saw him going through the marsh in that boat, I was like, this might be actually a realistic movie. But he was the last drop of sweat we saw in that whole film.
Yep. Yeah, because I was like, it's not something that like I need to focus. Like I realized while I was watching it, it's not something I really need to focus on. Yeah. Because I understand it's a movie, but even when you're filming a movie, even when you're filming a movie, there's still going to be mosquitoes there that you would probably be swatting at. I would imagine
gnats and bugs and ants
and everything. Literally, yeah,
all the bugs.
And like the only thing you see animal wise is a gator and birds.
All the birds.
Which they don't ever mention gators in the movie, which is weird. Or in the book, turtles. Which is weird. Yeah, turtles and all the
snakes.
birds.
I mean, out in the marsh, I'm sorry, there'd be like, oh shit, snake. Oh shit, snake.
There's got to be at least one snake moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
They also CGI'd some of the birds, which...
That really bugged Marleah.
It bothered me. Nobody else cared. But I was like, the whole point of... Like, I'm sorry, you haven't even gotten through your synopsis.
Yeah, let's let him go through it.
Go through.
Okay, she meets Tate on the boat.
Yeah. She meets Tate on the boat. She goes to school. It doesn't go well.
Oh, yeah.
No, it does not, and does not return.
No.
Does not return. Fuck
does
them people.
Not return.
Oh, my God.
Yep, more or less. Yeah. And then, so then she just stays to herself, and so it kind of more or less, then her dad passes. Doesn't show anything. They're like, well, then Dad died, or then Dad was gone too. Dad left.
He just disappeared.
Yeah, he just left and didn't come back.
And I'm like, well, you mean he dead? Gotcha. That's, because technically that would be leaving and not coming back. Yeah. Unless he's going to haunt her, I guess. I don't know. It might have been an interesting twist. Just saying. What did I tell you about these boys out here? Oh, see, that would have been great. A haunting, door slamming whenever Chase comes in there.
Did he die in the book?
He just left.
I thought he did.
They never knew what happened, I don't think, in the book. I don't think they knew.
No.
Yeah. And so it kind of shows her progressing as she gets older, bringing the oysters and mullets and selling them, then, jumping, and his wife more or less taking care of raising her, but like by proxy, I guess. Like
and
like
at
they're
a
not,
distance.
Kind of a hands-off approach.
Very hands-off. Yeah.
Which is more than her parents gave her.
Right. Exactly. And I thought that was weird.
I did too.
I'm like,
in what way? What do you mean?
Well, so because Jumpin's wife Mabel very much, all about trying to take care of her and hook her up with food and stuff like that, quoting Bible and, scripture and all that. So it seems like they would just go ahead and just take her in, knowing that she has nobody. Now, granted,
I would just wonder about the dynamics, the race dynamics. We're talking about the 50s and 60s.
And that could have been it, I guess, because it is still the 50s.
And she ran, too. And that was one of the things that we talked about when we left the movie, was that in the book, she was such a solitary person and such a frightened person, even from the time she was 4 or 5, that when she would go to see Jumpin' and Mabel, like those kind of interactions that they showed in the movie, they didn't happen in the book. She would go and she would do her business, and they would sneak stuff to her that she couldn't turn back, and then she would leave, and she would feel that they had taken care of her, but she didn't let them take care of her, even when she was 5. So I think some of that came from her side of the story. You know what I mean?
True. Yeah. That's true. Very valid point, Marleah. But it kind of then fast forwards to her being kind of a younger woman. Still not really sure, clean. I guess. Yeah.
Much
still
cleaner.
Way too, yep. So this
cute Levi shorts cut off.
This part is the thing that always kind of strikes. Well, I figure the clothes is just from Mabel. You know, from the church donations and all that. However, what killed me as somebody that is father of a girl, her hair was, I didn't see a brush in sight. Her hair, I mean, she's got hella good conditioner or whatever.
It looked great.
Her hair was silky smooth, no tangles, no nothing. And that just, that would legit throw me off at certain parts of the movie. I'm going, wow, her.
Again, the cleanness were so clean. She didn't have a washer and dryer.
She didn't have running water.
She didn't have running water.
But they never showed how she, you know, they never showed bathing
and
or
if there's
anything.
marsh water, it's dirty water. So, like, everything that's white is going to be kind of like...
Dingy.
Oh, yeah. She was always wearing those white blouses and white dresses.
Everything is salt crusted. When you wash and then you hang dry in the marsh, it's still going to be salt crusted. And there was none of that kind of feel in anything. Though, I will say... The costumer, like, there were some times when I was like, this puts me, like, this, I noticed this, which is not a good thing. Like, I noticed it, like, it came, it caught my attention. But things like, she would wear things at first that were inappropriate for being in the marsh. And at first I was like, oh my God, that's because Mabel collected all these things that weren't, you know, they were just what people had. So she would have this lacy top on. And they noticed, like, they had burned a hole in the lacy top on, like, the left shoulder or something. Wow, but that's the really only thing wrong with it, though. So it's like they tried, but they didn't try hard enough. You know what I mean?
No,
like, they didn't quite go as far as it would probably be.
Right.
I feel like they just went to Target. Like,
I know.
And not even like 1950s Target, like current.
No.
Like, they just went to Target like
they
the
had on
other day. And then
Levi cutoffs.
Yeah.
Well, high rise
like, even
is
the
back
little,
in style.
That's what I'm talking about.
Even
now.
Yeah. Well, even like the little prairie style shirts.
Yeah.
From 18 whatever. But they're still like the sleeves are cropped. I'm like, I don't think we're trying super hard. But I also understand it's not the focus. Like, but it is slightly
distracting.
It
wasn't the focus, but it is the details.
But it is
that
it is distracting.
Yeah.
And it's also it could be the details that also can pull you out of the story too.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's something that I'm like, because
we were obsessing over the details.
Yeah, because I'll look at.
You shouldn't notice them if it's a really great movie.
Yeah.
It should just be. You shouldn't think about it, right? I mean, it should just be there.
And the best way to kind of just more or less sum up like this movie as a whole is that it's a great counter programming to all the action movies that are out and everything.
That's fair.
Great counter programming.
Action.
It's great counter programming to go. It's a great date movie to go take someone on a date to.
There was a date there when we went. Yes.
Oh, was
there were
really?
several.
Yeah, there was.
But it's not trying to shoot for Oscar nominations by any means. It's just it's Patrick and I like to use this phrase on our show that we say it's a movie that exists.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not bad. I mean, it is entertaining.
Yeah, it's not bad. But it's not.
As we progress and she gets older, she meets Tate again. Tate starts dropping off feathers and other like little things he thinks she might like or might need for her house or whatever, knowing that she's the only one there. She finally, she acknowledges who it is and then, basically he reminds her, hey.
a casserole.
Yeah, right?
I mean, that would have been a little bit like...
Remember his mom is dead.
Well, I mean, then he would know what a casserole
Courtney
is.
says he can't cook casserole.
But, I did like the guy that played Tate. I thought
I did too.
Yes.
I really did.
He probably was my favorite character.
so. I actually, well, I think Kaya's act. I think Daisy Edgar Jones's acting is probably the, other than obviously David Strathairn, who's just a gem of an actor, anyways.
Oh yeah,
Right.
He's just the best, anyways, in whatever he does. But him him aside, I thought hers was probably the more convincing. But I liked the guy that played Tate, though, I thought was very stale. Or Chase, yeah.
Tate or Chase?
Chase. Yeah, Chase.
Sorry, Chase. I thought I thought his acting was very stale.
Mm-hmm.
It was very just, I'm reading the lines. Kaya, come here. I love you, Kaya. It's like,
though,
I think he was supposed to come off like a total
I was gonna say,
ass.
I actually bought that from him.
Oh yeah.
No, he totally sounds like a bro, like a 1950s bro, dude.
Bro.
Like,
Yeah.
1950s bro.
Yeah.
Is it weird that the
Yeah.
costuming for bros hasn't changed really any
No.
in all
Still
this
wearing a
time?
polo
Because I
and
was
some
like,
damn
dude, I know that
khakis
guy.
And the hair.
Yeah. I don't know. I just thought I don't know if that was his choice to, like, even just that even his body movements seemed just very.
Oh, they were rigid. He lumbered.
It just it was very stiff and not. I mean, even for like what he was trying to project as his character, it just seemed very stiff and I don't know. I don't want to say amateur. Amateurish is like not a nice thing to say, but I mean, it just seemed like something like it. Like if I were to try and play that character, that's what would happen, having zero acting skills whatsoever.
To be fair, he was British, as were almost every actor in this movie.
Except for Tate.
Except for Tate was British. We
Yes.
were like, if we find Patrice is like, if I find out this was filmed in New Zealand, I'm gonna flip my shit.
Nope, filmed it in New Orleans and Baton
which is
Rouge.
also
Which
weird.
also is weird. Why would
Yes.
you? I guess because of the cost. I guess
I'm
it's
sure they
for-
choose because of the
tax
cost.
breaks. It's because
Yeah.
of the tax breaks, and that's why like half of like if superhero movies anymore are being filmed in either like the Marvel stuff is either being filmed in Atlanta or New Orleans.
Whoop.
Because I mean, mostly Atlanta, but a lot of it, a lot of stuff is shot in New Orleans because of the tax breaks they can get down there.
Damn, let's reinvest this money. The South.
Right.
Let's
I know,
go.
right?
Right.
True story.
Which,
So-
speaking of just random, God, I'm so sorry. Like everything I say is an aside, but like the
Great.
Victor Creel house from Stranger Things is like an hour from us, and I'm totally going there in a couple
Nice.
weeks. I'm like obsessed with the idea. It's in Rome, Georgia, and I'm gonna go see it.
Yep.
Yep.
Rome.
We one of our past guests, Chad Patenick, is an extra in this season 4 Stranger Things. Episode 1, he's the bus driver when Max gets off the bus. He's a teacher in one of them in the hallways, and he's a police officer or trooper, and I forgot part 2, one of the episodes. I missed it though. And then he was also in season 3 when they're in the movie when they're running from whoever and they have to go hide in the movie theater. He's one of the guys. That
Oh
they're sitting
yeah.
he's one of the people that they're sitting next to. Anyways.
In the movie theater.
So we had him on
Fun.
talking about that, and he got to be at that house too when they were filming. So it's pretty cool. Oddly enough, Ozark is not actually filmed at Lake of the Ozarks. It's actually filmed.
Nuh-uh. That's so sad.
It's yeah,
Was it in
very
Canada
sad.
or something?
Because so I don't know. I mean, because Lake of the Ozarks is basically go karts and resorts, and that's about
it is. It's true.
it. And two outlet malls. And that's it.
And my uncle's house.
It's like-
that's it.
It's the halfway point when we used to when I lived in Columbia, Missouri. It's the halfway point between Columbia and Springfield. So it's like 3 hours total. Once like that, it's like an hour and a half away. So I'm like, oh, they're not actually filming it there. Well, that's interesting. but whatever. But yeah, it's filmed in. I think it's filmed in Georgia also.
Oh,
Sometimes. Ta-da. But yeah, so Kaya and Tate end up becoming really good friends, and then Tate's dad, who's a fisherman, finds
Shrimper.
out it's like, just
Shrimper.
a
He's a
shrimper. Yes.
Sorry.
Excuse me. Yep, get that one right.
Wow, Marleah.
I don't know. I just sometimes I know
boat.
things and then I'm like, ah.
There you go. And so he helps his dad with that, and then his dad's like, just be really careful, because how the rumor mills is in this small town.
He's basically like,
Girls
don't
get
go get her pregnant.
Don't get her pregnant.
Yeah,
That
girls-
was the main
Girl-
thing. Don't get her pregnant.
Because you're trying to go to college.
Don't,
Yep.
because you're trying to go to
She ain't
college.
wrong.
You have a future. She doesn't, but you have a future. So yeah.
And then they skipped out the whole like, hey son, these are what rubbers are. Like, they didn't put that in
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Sorry.
Exactly. Oh God. But yeah, it's so they get really close. They date. They start kissing. There is a scene where it looks like they're about to go all the way, and then he's like, Kaya, I can't.
His dad's voice in his head.
Sorry, but Kaya, I love you. I love you. You are the best thing ever. I just can't do this.
He did
And
say,
then
I did like that though, because he was like, you do understand, like, this would be
Worse for you than for me.
much
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
worse
Much
for
more
you.
dangerous.
Dangerous for
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Yes.
I thought that was
Definitely.
sweet.
That was
Anyway,
sweet.
Yeah.
even though
And-
Daddy didn't say that to him, he understood it.
Yeah. Honestly, I think it was handled better in the book than I think it was on screen.
Mhm.
I
At
think
least
so
that part.
too.
I'm like, but
It
I'm
was.
also like, God, he's such a. But I was also like, this guy's kind of a douche for doing. Like, I mean, if he, in the sense that, like, if you knew that going in, why not
Be
Stop
ready.
that
Yeah.
before either one of you started getting undressed? Like,
Got
'cause that's
all the
gonna
way
make her-
undressed.
You
'Cause that's
know,
now- 'cause-
why?
yeah.
Because he's 19.
Yeah, that's valid. He's a kid. But at least he did have that forethought at some point. Like, hey, I do this.
He's a good
So-
boy. He looks like Patrick
He is.
Swayze a little
He
bit.
does.
Does look like Patrick Swayze, love child.
I was thinking either that or Kurt Russell, like a young Kurt Russell, like a Disney
Oh, I
movie
could
Kurt
see
Russell.
that a little bit. I
So,
could see that.
The kind of the more rounder face and the same hair.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was kind of thinking too. But no, I do like Tate as a character and in this, and
As an actor,
Tate
I would
goes
say too.
yes, and then he goes to, Tate goes away to college. He's like, Kai, I'll be back on the 4th. We're gonna be back together. Just you wait. We're gonna sit on your beach and watch the fireworks
Watch
together.
the fireworks on your beach.
He made that mistake
Yep.
of being so specific.
And then,
Very specific.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
well,
But that's also
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
such a dude thing too. It's like not really
Yeah, that was relatable.
understanding
Yeah.
like expectations. Yeah.
So he doesn't
and-
show.
He doesn't.
No, he doesn't. Nope, sure doesn't. And then, damn. Yeah, she used lipstick even in a dress that
I know.
she'd been
Right?
she'd been
She found her
saving up
mom's
that
old
Mabel would get.
lipstick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yep.
yes, and that's a man. My heart broke for her at that moment. I was like,
That
"Oh,
was a
damn."
very well done
Yeah.
scene where she watched
Yes.
all the fireworks and then she woke up the next morning and then she started because
She
she had
realized, like-
hoped all the way through the fireworks maybe he's just late, and that was sweet.
Yeah.
And sad. Yeah, that was well done.
I remember
Yep,
that from
and
the
then-
book too, of her finding her mom's makeup and her
Mhm.
mom's nail polish and like trying, because she left her so young. She was like trying to figure out like what I kind of remember you're supposed to do this, and she would find that old tube. I kind of remember the description of that.
There was the one
It was-
tube of
yeah.
lipstick. Yeah.
Yeah. That was nice. I mean, sad,
It was
but good.
Yes, but she finds a way to move on. She still tries to tell herself that, hey, I just need to take care of me because it's only going to be me out here until, one day she's writing, working on her, she decides to go ahead and work on her book, trying to get her book made and all that about all the animals and feathers and all the different, wildlife going on there in the marsh. And so one day, there's a party on the beach and, Chase is there, and then later on she goes to see Jumpin' and go get her supplies, and then Chase is there and kind of does his, ties up his fancy boat, and he's like, starts talking to her and is trying to get her to go on a date, and I don't know, it was like such a. I was just like, wow, this is such a bro pickup. And it's just,
It was awful.
I mean, he's just like, it's like if there was a college and there was a frat, this guy would have been in it. I mean, it's just a very kind of frat boy kind of dude.
Yeah,
And
like he forced her to let him carry her groceries that were very lightweight that she was perfectly capable of carrying. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, no, I need to show you that I'm. It's as if he's never had a girlfriend, though. Because he's acting like somebody trying to pretend like he's had one before. It's like, well, this is what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to carry this for you to show you that, to show you that I care and that I want you to, this is how I want you to like me. And I feel like it's like he's trying too hard. But
or it was also like, this is what you're supposed to do when I do this, I think is more.
Yes.
Maybe
be grateful I'm helping you.
Yes. Yes.
You're the little lady and I'm the big man.
So, well, yeah, I just, Chase. And and the thing is, he's like, hi, my name's Chase. What your name's Kai, is that right? It was no. Hi, I'm Chase Andrews. I was like, oh, you're that football player that's introduced by both names. Like you don't. It's like who's going to be on the podcast today? Well, Patrice, Marleah, Courtney, Patrick, and I think Chase Andrews is also joining. Like he's introduced by both first last name, not just Chase. Like all his friends call him Chase Andrews because apparently there's more than one. Just in case there's more than one Chase in this tiny little town. But I actually laughed in the movie. I actually laughed like that because I'm like, I think I know a couple of people that are like that. It's just, but yeah, and then they eventually go on a date, and he's just so awkward with her because he has no way to relate.
No,
he has no real conversation. They don't share any real interests. The only reason why she is interested in him is because he is showing interest in her at all.
Yeah.
Right.
At least
I think
that's what I got.
He's also quote unquote slumming it. So I think that he's expecting her to act differently than what she's actually doing.
Yeah, he was very surprised at how smart she was for one.
Yes.
And he did make a note of that, something about, did they?
The Marsh girl knows fancy words.
Yeah.
Kind of comment.
Those big words. You know how to read, which Tate helped teach her how to read. I did kind of miss that part.
Yeah.
But Tate taught her how to read in the first place, which, and she's like, yeah. And then, of course, he tries to kiss her, and then that's okay. And then he tries to force himself on her, and then she's like, I'm out of here. And he's like, no, Kai, I'm sorry. We can take this slow as you want. Apologize. No. Come on, bro. Go on, get he done messed up.
But then again,
because
like
it's
her growing up, I don't understand like how she even knows about like kissing and all the things.
Oh yeah, we talked about
like,
that.
Growing up like by herself, like she's never been around people. She's never seen people, kiss
show affection
or
in
show
any
affection
way. Yeah.
or make out. Everything that she's known is basically like her mom, and then the violence between her mom and her dad.
Isn't there though? Because that beach scene that you brought up, it's just like she's sitting there with them. She doesn't. That scene really struck me because I was like, she was never just sitting on the beach with Chase and his friends.
No.
Like she was hiding. She would watch them for years in the book, like come to the beach in the summer.
Maybe it was like,
and it was almost like
voyeurism.
because she was hiding from them. But that scene is like she's just hanging out on the beach with them, like writing in her book. And he walks over to her because
that was a mistake because that did
that felt very weird to me. Do y'all know what I'm talking? Which scene I'm talking about?
Because she's supposed to be a loner
because she
hiding
doesn't
behind a
just
tree.
she wouldn't just hang out with all these teenagers. Like she would be afraid
They'd
of
be
them
throwing rocks at her or something. Yeah.
I think that was
maybe
just
she did watch people make out.
Maybe I think it's a directorial decision to help try and introduce Chase as a young adult in that in a way to kind of merge certain parts of the story into one small kind of compact scene to kind of basically get the message, hey, these are these characters, they're all on this beach together, and this is how she knows him, and having nothing to do with the book. Now, one thing, this book is I think the movie is one of the better adaptations from its original source.
Yeah, it is.
For all of
is,
its from somebody that's seen all the Nicholas Sparks movies and been like been disappointed time after time, other than a couple of them, but other as well as other like the Harry Potter books. I mean, Goblet of Fire should have been like 2 parts, just with all the various different things going on with Hermione and trying to organize in her whole organization of spew and everything. Anyways, that whole thing, there was so much going on in that book that I really wished would have been in the movie. There's my aside, but this one I thought stayed pretty faithful to the actual original material.
I agree.
Surprisingly.
Yes.
And that one with the saying yes was not in it, and I think that was just a way to help.
I think she could have still been kind of hidden though, and the purpose would have worked. Like it just felt like she was already in the crowd. Like it just cut to a scene and she's like hanging out. She could have been like more in.
I feel like she was already there for. I feel like she was there first, and they kind of just showed up, and she didn't have a quick enough chance to run off.
Yeah.
So she just kind of stayed there awkwardly. So that's what I thought from that, at least what I got from it. But even though they didn't show, but that's kind of in my head how I rationalized that scene. So her and Chase try and end up having a relationship, and then Chase invites her to go to, is it Asheville, I think, because for his job,
or Greenville. Asheville or Greenville.
Greenville.
Asheville.
Yeah. And then they go, and then they get intimate. And
that
scene.
Sorry.
Worst sex scene ever.
Let me rephrase that. He gets intimate for about 30 seconds, if even
that.
Let's just say I chose to go to the bathroom when they left for Asheville, and I came back, and what did I miss? Marleah, Patrice, and Marleah goes, the worst sex scene ever.
It was
intentionally
so. Yes.
But was it realistic? It was pretty realistic.
It was probably the most realistic thing in the whole movie. It was like 4 thrusts and a moat. Like that was it. That was the thing. Sorry, that's pretty.
And of course, in traditional bro fashion, you'll like it more the second time. Or the next time. You'll like it more the next time.
He did too. He's like the more he said that too. Oh my god.
Yes. Yeah.
What did you say, Patrick?
You enjoy it the more you do it.
Yeah, the more you do it, you're like, like, all right, if you keep doing that, she's not.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be a long time.
I legit. Here's my action. I know this is an audio medium, but this is literally my reaction watching that part.
I literally said that's it.
I know, right?
Like, put all
we're like, wait, what? So yes, I mean, extremely effective.
Yeah. I was like, oh my dude, let's have a talk.
Oh my god.
And oddly enough, that relationship didn't last.
Glad I missed it.
It was so bad. Yeah, I just and of course, they're talking about building a future and stuff, and then you kind of find out, wow, he's engaged, because Kaya runs into him in the city and finds out, wow, I'm Chase's fiance. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
That's not a good. I was like, ooh, that's not good. So that put an end to that relationship. And really, I mean, granted, because she's by herself and she has no other experiences other than those 2 boys and her dad. Like other than her siblings.
Yeah.
No other contact with men other than like jumping and the 2 boys. So she has no, what's the word I'm looking for? Sense of like, wow, something seems weird. The fact that he won't introduce me to his friends or take me to meet his parents, or, that doesn't register as kind of weird on her radar, because
she has no perspective.
Doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
So she has to believe what he says, and it's just.
He even says to her, when we get married.
Yeah, multiple times. Yeah.
Yeah. when you get
'Cause he's
married,
a
you'll meet my
douche,
parents. I'm like,
though.
yeah.
He's just saying the things he think will keep her
Yeah.
on his little
Around.
string, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know how my family is? I'm like, no, she doesn't, because she hadn't met him.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the whole point, bro. We need it. If you introduce her, maybe she will.
It needs context.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that doesn't go well. And then of course Chase eventually Chase Andrews eventually finds her, and I'm just gonna have to just refer to him as the way he would want it. Eventually finds her, catches up, and then pretty much forces himself upon her, in which she tries to, break free from, and then he ends up just slugging her, because that's how some people show love, I guess, just like her dad would. And then I think that's just yes, because just like having flashbacks of her dad, literally.
Yes.
Literally.
She got that rock and knocked him in the head.
Yeah. I said, yeah, girl, get it. And then finally takes off, and then is running in fear of her life from him. And I think there are parts, that I think books do a far better job explaining, not explaining, showing tension and suspense that just sometimes movies just can't do. And I felt that this particular scene in which that happens, and then her running off and trying to hide from him, I think is expressed better in the book than it is on the movie. Not that the movie did a bad job. I just think the book did a far better job expressing that sort of urgency, suspense, and dread that she was going through.
Fear. How much she was hiding.
Yes.
Yeah.
From him, and what am I going to do? I'm out here alone, and now he's after me. Like,
right.
I don't have a choice, and nobody in this town is here for me.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was really expressed in the book. I didn't ever really get
fear from her, like the acting wise.
No.
I never got like that fear or dread at any point in time, which I got a lot from the book.
In the book,
Yeah.
So I thought that was, and then he tries to find her at the house, and she's hiding in the brush and everything, and he ends up leaving. And of course, that's perfect timing for Tate to kind of finally reappear after years at this point. And
5 years.
Yep. You've been gone 5 years, and you finally just show up. Get the hell out of here.
And she throws rocks at him.
Yep. She knows how to utilize the rocks. She knows how to rock and roll. But yeah, it just, and I'm like thinking, Tate, I was like, dude, I would have written the letter at least once.
Yeah.
No communication in 5 years. I'm like, she has a mailbox because, hey, the post is here.
Yeah.
And, when she was younger and getting a letter from her mom, just that she didn't get to read because dad burned it. But, we know she can get mail, and not a letter, not a thing.
Yeah.
But just something. Could have said, school's not what I thought it was. It's crazy. I can't get away.
Yeah. Yeah. Something.
Just something.
Something.
And that she would have read it because she can read.
Yeah. That's a flaw in the book to me too, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the character Tate, I don't think would have gone that long without doing something. He had too much of a conscience, and like he cared for her too much to not do anything.
Right. I agree.
Because I guarantee if I'm teaching somebody that I had feelings for how to read, spending that kind of time, because you're trying to tell me that this dude would go to college and not come home during summer break, winter break, fall break, spring. Like there's at least four times a year he would have come home, and he wouldn't go out there once. No,
he got caught up in that college life.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, you're not a foreign exchange student that can't go home because it costs too much, or
the only time that he came out there was like to tell her that Chase isn't who you think he is.
Yeah, which is a bad opening.
Because they ran into
line.
each other, remember? And he heard
Yeah.
them
Yeah,
talking about
but
her.
still.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I'd be like, fuck off, dude.
I know.
Where you
That's
at?
just some posturing shit. Like, oh, let me go make sure
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't get
Yeah,
her, is
that's-
what it seemed like.
That's something you bring up after you've been like, so let me explain.
Exactly.
First, hold on, let me explain first. Then I got something very much important to tell you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it could have been handled better. Could have been written better. But
Yeah,
here we are.
written better. for sure.
Yes, on both ends, both book and script. But and Tate ends up trying to save her and everything. And mind you, during all of this, during this movie, back and forth we have a court scene going on because she's being tried for murder. We haven't even gotten to that part. Like she's being tried for murder, and they're doing like cut to current scene, flashback, all that stuff, and her being tried for the murder of Chase Andrews.
Chase Andrews.
Chase Andrews.
Yes. So hashtag Chase Andrews. But yeah, so all this is going on, but it's the most in the book. It portrays the judge as more like a villain. Like he's such a creep. Like the judge is so like just like an a-hole in the book, and in the movie he's just just some Southern judge, and be sure to do this and that. I'm like,
Southern to me. Like,
I don't remember.
I don't
him.
even remember him in the
Yeah,
movie,
right.
but I remember him in the book.
But-
being like a typical villain Southern judge kind of person.
But yeah, and there's this whole court case going on that we don't even know about fully, and then all of a sudden, because Chase fell from a fire watch tower, and Chase Andrews had taken Kai up there to see the view. It's like, it's funny how you can live in a place for so long and never really know what it looks like. So, and she gets I forgot that whole thing. Question, this slightly off topic, but I legit put this in the notes on my phone during the movie to ask y'all, because I figure y'all are more Southern than I am and may have heard this. What in the world is Kaya? You can't run from every whip switch or
whip stitch.
I don't even know what the hell that means.
I was like, a whip stitch is just a common sewing stitch. Like, what the hell does that? I've never heard that.
I didn't know it.
Me either.
I mean, I know it. I've heard of
like
whip
that's-
stitch, but I don't know
run
that
from
term.
every whip
Like, I don't
stitch.
know
Oh
that
my-
idea.
I was like,
I noticed it in the book and I noticed it in the movie, and I was like, wow, they really focused on that one. Like they gave it like silence around it. Like they wanted you to keep it. And I was like, that's a weird one. Like, I don't get that. I'd never heard it.
Why would you run from a whip stitch?
I don't know. It's just a stitch.
What-
It's
I don't
just a
know.
stitch.
bitch. And
You could run from like a whip switch.
Whip snake?
Yep.
No, wait. No. There's no snakes in this movie.
no snakes. No, Chase Andrews. Hashtag. Chase Andrews. One snake was found.
I think that was just all the author. I don't know anything about that.
Southern.
Yeah, that was one
in the
I
book.
think that's one she heard and got hooked. And it's like, you know what? I'm going to put this one in here. That one's actually pretty good. Because the first, I guess, real Southern thing I remember ever hearing was I had a journalism teacher say that, you know what? That's as fine as frog hair. I'm like,
I've heard that.
the hell?
I
are
I
you
do know that one.
Mind you,
I'm not.
yeah,
Southern.
I'm like, I was like, okay. I lived in Texas for 7 years and never heard a single. I don't remember growing up here in Southern. Maybe it's because I lived in Dallas and kind of suburbs of Dallas.
Yeah.
So I wasn't like that part of Southern. But yeah, move up to Midwest Missouri and here, Midwest Southern Missouri, and here we are throwing that stuff out. I'm like, okay. But then I'll hear one every now and then around here. I'm like, all right. But yeah, I actually typed that one. I typed that one in my phone. I'm like, okay,
I
that one's
missed
standing
that.
out.
I
I got
don't
to answer
remember
that
it.
one.
Really?
What the
I
hell does that
noticed
even
it
mean?
both times, and I'm like looking it up now to see if I can figure out if it's actually like a
I don't think it is.
colloquialism, but
Something they made up. But yeah, so of course, I'm kind of losing track of where I'm at in the movie.
Sorry.
Yeah, so the court scene, and then the Chase Andrews coming after her, but Tate's there to protect her now because apparently she's not a strong, independent woman that can't take care of herself. She always has to have some dude. Although she's
20 years.
Right, although she's been taking care of herself for 15 or so years, and that part always bugged me in the movie, but here we are. So they go through this whole court thing. At some point, I did kind of miss this part. Kaya did make Chase Andrews a necklace out of a seashell that they found on the beach, because she started right on. This is when he was talking about, wow, you're really smart, because she knew so much about a shell that is not common to that area. It's found further, other parts of North Carolina or something like that. And so she made the necklace for him and gave it to him. But then, when they found Chase Andrews dead, that necklace was not on there. And he, his mom's like, he wouldn't take that off for anything. He always wore that. I'm like, okay, so that's not to say that it didn't fall off. It's not, or get ripped off in his fall or something like that, or an animal pecked it off. I mean, anyways, they tried to say that that's why she killed him. I'm like, well, then why would she take that? I'm like,
one thing that's kind of weird to me about Chase Andrews is that he's supposed to be a football player, like graduated from high school, like the football player, like in high school and stuff. Didn't go to college, working at his dad's store. So to me, that kind of personality that I've known of football players, they always talk about football.
He didn't talk about it at all.
There was no hey, let me talk about me and my football, and there was none of that.
Yeah, that's true.
There was like her talking and telling things to him. And I kept expecting him to go like, okay, yeah, but let me tell you about this play that I did, my junior year or whatever.
So
that's
yeah,
more realistic.
and it's very much more realistic. So that's what happens, I think, when an author doesn't have, I guess, when they developing a character that they don't have like real life experience or people that they have known do that. And so I think that's kind of more along that lines, but the movie could have also done more to express that, like having him wear like a Letterman jacket all the time,
right?
Even though it's the South, and who the hell's going to wear a Letterman jacket during the summer in the South? But but still would have that kind of thing around, or like a football ring for a championship ring or something, just small, just but again, they weren't really focused on details
in football. Yeah.
So, and then we kind of get Tate and Kaya end up staying together. The result of the movie, the end of the movie is what it is. They expose this. I don't like, and I didn't like it in the book, and I didn't like how it ended in the movie about how they found out who really killed Chase Andrews.
Yeah.
I felt that in the book they did a little bit better. In the movie, it almost seemed like some big aha moment that was supposed to be what you're left with, and you walk out of the theater going, wow, that really blew my mind. I just hated how they presented it. And it kind of irritated me. I would have enjoyed it.
Bad.
Yeah. I would have been happy with just, the result of the trial and then credits. And, her and Tate's relationship, credits. And then let that be it. And leave it as a mystery. Because some things are okay to be left as a mystery. Not every little thing has to be played out. People can use their imaginations. It's okay.
I don't know though, because in the book it was such a big deal about the timeline and the tides and the bus schedule and how impossible could it be?
But that was all during the trial.
At what time?
It would have. I still think it would have been more effective if it had been left as an unknown, because that stuff was all covered during the trial and they didn't cover it in the movie. But I don't know. Interesting.
They covered it a little bit, but yeah.
But okay, so my thoughts are, great counter programming to what's currently out there.
Yes.
To everything that's out there, it's great counter programming. It's a great date movie. There were several dates in my theater, but including somebody that brought their adult coloring book of the movie, the Where the Crawdads Sing adult coloring book. That was hilarious. Now, granted, I was at
Regal on it. So did Regal Cinemas do that?
No. It's it's at Opry Mills Mall. So basically, where Opryland theme park used to be, they then tore it. From what I understand, because before we moved here, but they tore it down, made a big, huge mall, and there's a Regal 20 with IMAX and the 40X, all that fun stuff. Is all in this theater in its own bar. So yes, it has the alcohol.
Nice.
I just never get one for it. Get my fruit punch or lemonade, call it a day. And then if I get anything. And then excuse me. So they might have gotten it somewhere. I'm just assuming they brought it from home. But I'm also like, does this person know something more about this movie that they brought their coloring book with them? Because there's going to be some dry moments and they just figure they're going to be bored, so they're going to color in it.
I wish I would have had a coloring book.
Because that's what I really, and they sit further down. So I was kind of trying to keep an eye, but also watching the movie, but also kind of curious. But,
wait, it was a Regal Cinemas.
It said Regal on it.
I just looked it up. It was
it?
an early access fan event exclusive adult coloring book with ticket purchase, July 13th only. So that means that the person who had it had bought the ticket and been already, and then brought it back to the theater with them.
The movie was not that good.
Wow.
So she watched
not
it
for a
Wednesday.
coloring book like that. That's dedication.
Yeah. That's status. that's a status thing.
Status.
Well,
she's
maybe
just
somebody else
she's
went and
off.
gave her the book.
And then they just happened to bring it with them.
She might know somebody. Well, she might know somebody that works in the theater, and they just had extras too. So there's also that.
That happened to me once.
But no, it was. I did enjoy the movie. I mean, there's obviously, like most movies, there's always something you could nitpick with, and find something wrong with. But it was. I still enjoyed it. Patrick?
Yeah, it was okay.
Oh yeah, it was an entertaining movie.
It was definitely not a bad movie.
No, it was not as bad as Uma.
Yeah, sorry about that. We didn't like Uma.
No, we didn't like Uma.
I redboxed it. Never got to talk about it on the show, but I did redbox it.
Really?
It was okay. It was okay for a redbox. I was okay with it.
I would have been more comfortable as a redbox than as a movie theater. Yeah. I had built it up so much that I kind of dragged them both along with me. And I was like, this is going to be amazing.
About driving.
No, it was our first movie that
Sandra.
It was Sandra. Oh, for God's sake.
For God's sakes. Yes.
All right. Do you want more Strange South every week? We can help. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can join our Facebook fan group, Fans of the Strange South Podcast, to keep the chat going with our whole creepy community. Do you have a story idea for us or a story of your own to share? Email us at stories@thestrangesouth.com. Plus, if you join our Patreon, you not only help support the podcast, you get an exclusive bonus episode for every show and a discount on merch. You can find links to all of these things on our website, thestrangesouth.com, along with photos, links, and show notes from every episode, Strange South t-shirts, mugs, and other goodies. See you there.
So as shared to us by Patrice, were you the one that shared this article with us?
Randy sent it to me, and I sent it to the group. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh shit, the article.
Okay. All right. And then it wound up being all over the Twitter. I come to find out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay, everybody's got this one. All right, cool. So The Atlantic put out an article by Jeffrey Goldberg called Where the Crawdads Sing, author wanted for questioning in murder. A televised murder. A televised 1990s killing in Zambia has striking similarities to Delia Owens' best-selling book turned movie.
Which that part is bullshit.
That is
bullshit. It has zero similarity.
Zero similarity.
However,
other than murder,
there is some very valid concerns about their involvement in this murder.
Exactly.
Yes. And so On March 30th, 1996, the ABC News magazine show Turning Point featured a documentary about a pair of American conservationists titled Deadly Game, the Mark and Delia Owens story, which I ended up watching a clip of because you can find it on the YouTube and put it in our group.
Yeah, I watched it
page.
today.
Yeah, I did too.
It's like 3.5 minutes long. It's not very long.
Mm-hmm.
So the show's co-anchor Diane Sawyer introduced the broadcast this way: they went halfway around the world to follow a dream. An idealistic American couple, young, in love, but a strange place and time would test that love.
I really feel like it had nothing to do with them being a couple.
I was like,
yeah, it didn't.
Yeah,
or love.
I was like, of love. I was like, calm down, Diane Sawyer.
Exactly. I'm like, what's happening on
like,
ABC News in 1996?
Yeah. This sounds like one of those like 60 minutes, 48 hours.
Yes,
pieces.
it does.
I'm like,
It is.
So they were in South Central Africa, in the South Central African nation of Zambia. The ABC producers included in this documentary filmed a murder of an alleged poacher executed while lying collapsed on the ground after having already been shot. The victim is not identified by the story's narrator, the journalist Meredith Vieira,
who
Weakest
hosted
Link.
the, she's on NBC
Yeah,
doing the
she's
Today
still-
Show.
Yeah,
Yes. Today Show, The Weakest Link, whatever. Nor is the identity of the person or persons who fired the fatal shot off camera disclosed. So
That's just fucked up.
The video is awful.
Yeah,
They just like murdered them.
Yes.
And they had it on primetime television.
And they're just going along like nothing. I'm like, okay. Like, oh, we're just gonna keep talking. All right,
Yeah.
we're good. It's like, yeah, no, this is good. We're good. It's fine. Everything's fine.
Yeah, it was messed
We're fine.
up.
You're fine. We're all fine here. Yes. So the ABC scripting referred to the victim as a quote trespasser.
Mm-hmm.
Though it is unclear where this trespassing might have taken place. So the writer goes on to state that he missed the episode when it first aired, but received a videotape copy several years later from other conservationists interested in African wildlife protection. These were people who believed that the on-air execution of a supposed poacher represented just a small part of a larger story, one that more closely resembled Heart of Darkness or than Born Free. So before Delia Owens was famous for the book Where the Crawdads Sing as an author, her and Mark Owens had been famous for decades since the publication of their first book, the best-selling Cry for Kalahari, an account of their time as lion conservationists in Botswana. There is another video. If you actually just do a search of the original documentary, Deadly Game, the Mark and Delia Owens story.
Yeah.
In the search results on YouTube, you'll come across this other video, like 27-minute interview from I think it's University of Washington, where they are talking to Delia Owens about her time in Botswana, as well as why they decided to move to Zambia. This video, like this interview, I've watched a little more than half before we had to go to SpongeBob. But it's very interesting because they could literally, like, there's just so much. It's so weird because there's like so much foreshadowing and just like you can see stuff in there that's just like, whoa, they could. I was like, wow, this is just crazy. Like watching this and then knowing how it ends, type of thing. It's very interesting. But it was in their second book, The Eye of the Elephant, about their battles against poachers in Zambia's North Luanga National Park, that drew the interest of ABC producers. The Owenses had left the country after the broadcast sparked a Zambian police investigation of their activities.
No
You
shit.
think?
Somebody just
It's like,
down
you think?
and right murdered somebody, videotaped it.
Yeah. So the author of the story stated that when he went there, went to Zambia for, to talk to people about the story, he had learned that Marco went to gradually come to command of a corps of game scouts in North Luangwa outside the Zambian government oversight by buying their loyalty through the provision of weapons, boots, and money.
Mm-hmm.
That
they
had
showed that in that
militarized
little
a
clip
2,400
too.
square.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So this entire time when I'm reading this part, the only thing that's going through my mind, there's a scene, if y'all remember the movie JFK that Oliver Stone made.
Yes, I did.
Of Joe Pesci's character. Same. Of Joe Pesci's part where he's militarizing like jungle music and him militarizing people in Cuba and stuff.
Yes.
That's what's going through my brain reading this part of the story. I was like, this is very Oliver Stone-esque part.
Mm.
But yeah, Delia had written in one of their books that Mark created a special unit of scouts who would earn new guns, jungle knives, binoculars, and compasses for standout performance.
It's like one of the things that really struck me about this was in the clip that you sent from the original, the originally aired clip from ABC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's how powerful the way that you word something is, because when it really reflects the way that they probably looked at it was that, okay, well, the government has underfunded this group of scouts that they've hired, so we're going to fill in and we're going to provide them weapons and we're going to provide them boots and we're going to give them all these things they need, is the way that it was presented in that. And the way that Jeff Goldberg, not Jeff Goldblum, Jeff Goldberg presented it was
yes.
Exactly.
Well, wait.
I know, right?
Where did that,
well, the way that they see it, but
I listed it on department store.
I know was that they were having basically like kind of gamifying it and having them earn earn things by showing loyalty. It's like, well,
like a cult.
Well, and they're it's
or a sports team.
It's fascinating. I mean, this says nothing about what's true and what's not in this instance, because but like, it's fascinating that one group can talk about the same thing with the same facts as their basis and describe them one way, and somebody can take the same thing with the same facts as their basis and describe it another way, and you get a completely different impression of what actually happened. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's realistic as to how people's perspectives work, because chances are, people in Zambia who worked as scouts in this park would have looked at it one way, or people in Zambia in general who lived around the area may have looked at it one way, and these people who came in from outside and saw it, their way, would have looked at it in a different perspective. And it's just about how you word what you're doing, like whether it's morally correct or ethical or not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So the other thing, like, right when I thought, okay, well, this story could surely not get much crazier than this.
I know, they
right?
shot somebody on screen. What the
But
hell?
it was more like her husband. She's guilty by association.
But he was the one that took the active.
But he was the one that took the action. So she's not like the only, I looked this up, like authors who commit murder.
You looked that up? Awesome.
I did.
Right.
So Anne Perry is another big author that committed murder.
No!
But she actually murdered somebody herself.
Is she a true crime author?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. That was what everybody always thought about Jessica Fletcher.
About saying that's
she
like,
murdered her mother?
that's like new too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Isn't that
she
like one of
murdered
those
her
newer
mother.
ones?
I did not know this.
Yeah.
It was a very staircase kind of deal.
Oh shit! Now I'm down.
Yeah. Go look it up.
I'm doing it right now.
So yeah, that was the whole like 80s. When does it happen? Did it happen in the 80s?
Anne Perry?
No.
She's
it
83
was
now.
early 90s.
I was these guys were early 90s. Yeah, I think
Early 90s, kind of late 80s. Yeah. So that kind of fits with the whole.
Well, this was 1996.
I think the ABC thing came out in 96.
96. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Sorry.
the fact that he led allegedly, no, you're good. The fact that Mark Owens allegedly led airborne raids against suspected poaching camps. Like,
I mean, what the fuck?
He's like, I created my own military.
Exactly.
But then again, let's think about this. So, I have problems. I mean, I love animals, y'all. I do. I love animals. I support, people trying to,
Prevent poaching. But you don't do it by murdering humans.
But you do not do, exactly.
Yes.
That's the point. You don't do it by murdering humans. Humans
Sorry.
outrank animals. I'm sorry. That's just the way I feel.
well, and they think, from his interviews, they think when he talked to one of the former scouts from this group that that Mark Owens led, they think that, or they said that Christopher Owens, Mark Owens' son from his previous marriage, is actually the one that shot this poacher.
Oh yeah, I read
And
that.
so,
But the first shot, because the shots that are shown on that video were a black
A
male
man who's already down. And
when he was already down.
yeah.
But I mean, that the
Well,
first
and
shot
then he
that got
learned
the
that-
guy on the ground was the son. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think
Yeah. Yes.
is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The first shot, they had him on the ground and he was still alive. And then the other was the military,
I
the
thought they
milita-
were saying that Chris had killed him, had been the shot from off camera that killed him. Because I thought that was part of what the
Yeah.
lawsuit was.
Oh, well, then maybe I didn't see the
yeah.
video right because.
Anyway,
Well, that was shot off camera.
yeah, it was
The
off camera.
One that was done off camera. Everson, the ABC cameraman who filmed the killing of the alleged poacher, Everson told me that it was not a Zambian game scout, but Christopher Owens who fired the fatal shots. That's what it was.
Oh.
Yeah. So they are obviously in that. I guess one of the Zambian police detectives that was in charge of this had concluded that Mark Owens, with the help of his scouts, placed the victim's body in a cargo net, attached it to his helicopter, and then dropped it into a nearby lagoon.
Which is pretty gross.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I cannot wait for this Netflix documentary to drop.
No shit. And it
It's
will.
going to.
It
Yeah.
will.
Yes. Because if Netflix doesn't do it, HBO probably will.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
And
definitely
it might be a
made.
little bit better.
I mean, there's more than likely. But yeah, it's definitely. I said, yeah, this is the next Tiger King coming up right here.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
This is going to be your next Tiger King one. Yep. But yeah, so Zambian authorities today still remain interested in bringing charges for the 1995 television killing.
But they don't know who
let's
the
see.
guy who died was still. They don't know who the victim
Right, they
was.
still don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, and I don't know how Zambia laws work. And every state has different definitions of, as far as like laws on basically, do you need to have a body to convict somebody of a murder? There's a great episode of the TV show Psych where they're at I think it's their high school reunion or something, and a guy dies they say fall from the jump off the top, side of the building, and the whole thing is no body, no crime. and it's something that I always stuck with me. And I always found it's one of my favorite episodes of that show. And but you really don't. I mean, if the evidence is there and you can, enough to convict, on that somebody of it, then you don't necessarily need a body. So.
Well, I mean, you
But I
have
don't
a
know how they
video
work,
for
they
one.
can
If you can
present
prove who
it.
the
Yeah, if you
person
can.
was, is
Right.
the main
Right.
thing in this case, right?
But you just
There's video
know,
evidence.
right? Yes.
that someone was killed.
And of course, exactly. And surprise, surprise, Dilly Owens is saying we don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
The only thing Mark ever did was throw firecrackers out of his plane,
Yeah. I
but
saw
just to
that.
scare poachers, not to hurt anybody. And Chris wasn't even there. Right.
Yeah. None
Sure.
of that seems
mean-
likely.
Right.
I mean, that sounds like something out of one of our books, actually.
However, like when that
Um,
author went on in that Atlantic article and started talking about
Oh my
how
God,
it
this
paralleled
last
the
part
book,
was not
I was
good.
like, that's
that was a
a
stretch.
stretch. Like we're
Yeah.
just trying to make
You're
this.
trying to
Yeah.
connect it too hard.
The rest of the article after the facts of this Zambia murder were like it's not really anything
that
like
this is
Where the Crawdads
reflective of
Sing.
her time on the stand. And I was like, she didn't have time on the stand. Like, nobody has sued her. Like, she hasn't been, like, that's part of the point is that they left the country and she hasn't been prosecuted on these things, you know?
Right. And they wouldn't go after her first.
Yeah,
they'd be going after him.
Yep. So yeah, the way they try to connect it.
You are dying over there.
Was that? No. I just talked too much.
I'm sorry.
Then, at some point my voice is going to give out. No, you're good. That its themes are so obviously echoed aspects of Delia Owens' life in Zambia. Crawdads is the story of a girl in the 1950s, North Carolina, who, through a series of improbable events, is forced to raise herself in an isolated swamp. Kaya Clark, the protagonist, is like Delia, a naturalist and a loner. Well, no, she had her husband, but anyway,
exactly.
And he's not a loner.
For reasons too involved to explain here, they try to say that basically they're trying to connect the fact that Delia Owens and Kaya are the same because they both people think she's the one that killed Chase Andrews Chase Andrews or some dudes. It even says Chase Andrews on the
Chase Andrews,
not just Chase.
Steve Holt.
Chase Andrews.
The murder of Caddish local big shot. I mean, Chase Andrews.
Which is but almost every part of the book has some deeper meaning, Delia said.
I disagree.
It's not a bad book, but it ain't all that.
Right.
Yeah, but to talk about a stretch, man, that's really trying to sell it.
They need to do a thing on Ann Perry, like if they want to make connections and stuff.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah. But and then it goes into more things about the book, and probably the last thing I'll probably bring up is that when the Jeffrey Goldblum, interviewed the Frankfurt representative in the park, a South African named Hugo van der Westenhuizen.
Wow.
There's our name there, Patrick, for this episode. There's our name that I'm surprised I got.
Hugo van der Westenhuizen.
At least I think I got correct.
Does he have like a safari hat and a white mustache that moves when he winks, like to the side, and like a monocle?
Oh, total.
That's what I see.
100%. 100%. It also sounds like a name Fletch would use. That Chevy Chase would use in the movie Fletch.
Yeah.
That sounds like a name he would use. John Cocktoast Hugo Vander Westhuizen. Anyways, said that he had to tell the Game Scouts trained by Mark Owens to, quote, stop saluting me. I'm not the big Bwana. I'm not the commander. I'm an advisor. It's not the role of foreign visitors to Zambia to run around with guns.
Oh, that's hilarious because in that ABC documentary, he's shown like putting his hand up to his head in a salute and everybody saluting him, and then he takes his hand down. Like he's not arguing.
No. Well, no, I mean but they're saying basically he's saying, "Hey, I'm not Mark Owens."
Yeah, this is not.
I see. I'm sorry.
This is Hugo Vander Weisten.
Westenhuizen. Yeah.
Westenhuizen Weisen.
Yeah. So, very interesting article with a lot going on.
Be interesting
and
to
surprise
see how
it's been almost 20 years. Yeah,
it'll be fascinating to watch that documentary.
This is from July, so I mean, this is just a few days ago.
Oh no, I mean, I'm sure they. I have a feeling they planned the release of this with the release of the film, right?
Sure.
Because this Jeff Goldblum, not Goldblum, has been doing this research for like 10 years, 20 years. God, how old am I? 20, 25, how many years? Since I graduated from high school.
26 years ago.
So, I mean, he's been sitting, waiting for his moment. And now it's his moment. Reese Witherspoon gave him his moment.
Absolutely.
But that was a stretch in the end. Like, I mean, he just wanted to talk about this, but you
Well,
didn't. Why
and the
don't
funny
you just
thing
talk
is-
about it? You don't have to like
I was
compare
gonna
it
say-
to the
The
book.
movie.
You don't have to.
No,
Yeah, I mean it's
because that kind
it's
of, like,
relevant
discredits
because
you.
she's an author in the limelight right now. That's all you need to make it relevant. You don't
Right.
have to make her the lead character. You know.
Right.
That's what I did not. I mean, he lost credibility for me when I was going through the end, and I was
And
like, this is really a stretch.
You're like Ahab and the whale, man. Like you're like hunting this lady like she's like Moby
Exactly.
fucking Dick. You're like after her and you're gonna get her no matter what
It
you have
does-
to do.
It does kind of look like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
okay, oh, now she's got her big time. I'm gonna go after her, and that was a stretch for
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that was he showed his hand.
Anyway.
Also, I think
Gulp
he's more
liver.
likely to be right than she is.
Mm.
So, like,
Yeah.
I will say though,
There is
so
that-
I
that.
read the article and I didn't have many strong feelings about it, but then when I watched the ABC documentary and saw a couple of
Oh.
clips of her interacting with wild animals, I actually got the whole like she wrote herself as Kaya thing, because that's what most I mean, a lot of writers, maybe not most,
Yeah,
but a lot of
they
writers
do.
do this. It's like, it's not the write what you know thing, but it's just kind of an instinctive thing that people do. Is like, this is what I
Themselves
spend
into
my
the
time
character.
doing. I am this character. And so I think she really did. Like when I watched those clips of her with a wolf or with no, not a wolf, a lion or a hyena. You know, it's like, oh, okay, so she is one of those people that would probably rather be around creatures than people. And so she did understand that part of that character, which is
Right.
really fascinating, which is almost disappointing that she didn't do more with it in the book,
Right.
you know? But I wish it was different. But the book was not bad and the movie
Yeah.
was not bad. So
Right.
Yeah.
that's what I have to say. It
There's that.
exists, as you say.
Right.
It exists.
This movie happened.
I've already thought of. I did already think of a title for the sequel
Yeah?
called "Where the Cicadads Scream."
Oh, you could. I volunteer my
cicadas
backyard
scream.
for this.
Yes, I took Charlotte out earlier, and that's what I heard. I go, that's like, oh, where the cicadas scream. That
Yes.
sounds like a great sequel title.
Yes.
We have plenty of
Because that's all they were
filming
doing.
locations around
I would like to
here.
write that.
We'll give you a tax break.
I'll give you a tax rate for performing at my backyard.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Thank you guys so much for putting up
Enjoyed
with us
this.
and inviting
Yes.
us.
Same. Real quick, we have Bodies. There's a new trailer for that horror movie brought to us by our friends at A24.
I wanna see.
She Said, which I think it's on most people's
Oh, yeah.
where the previews are in, for
That
most
looks
people
good.
about
That
the
does
Harvey
look good.
Weinstein thing.
Yes. I saw
November
that.
release. So they're already saying for your Oscar consideration, which would be hilarious because it's about Harvey.
No
I'm like, wow, this is
shit.
gonna be so interesting.
Wow. Yeah.
This is gonna be
Meta.
interesting.
Mhm.
So meta. And whoever's doing Harvey's voice, wow.
Yeah,
Spot
for
on.
real.
And then Orphan First Kill, because I guess we need that franchise to keep going.
The Orphan? Like The Orphan?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So what is this?
Orphan
Bodies,
First
bodies,
Kill,
bodies.
August-
I just
19th.
looked it up. We'll talk about it after.
Yep. It's got Pete Davidson in
I
it
see
and
that.
some other people.
Oh my God, you guys.
It looks like it'll be humorous.
Are
They
you going to
also-
go see Nope?
It'll be humorous, but also violent. Yes.
Nope.
Yeah.
Okay, because
Nope. Yeah.
we're going to go
Yeah,
see
not
Nope.
Yes, we are.
We're gonna go see. I'm gonna go see it in IMAX. I've already decided,
Oh my God.
and that's when I know I'll get. And that's when I know I'll get Ruth to go see.
I can't wait to hear
So
what
I
you
said
guys
going
say
to
about
Georgia.
that. I can't wait to see it.
I can't wait to see it either.
I-
We need to
I-
plan more.
I already hate
Yes,
to
we will.
I love the first trailer. I absolutely hate the second trailer because we didn't need a second. We didn't need a second trailer
I know, too much.
at all.
Too much.
The
Too
first
much.
one was perfect. Way too much, and I'm kind of pissed about it. But
I
it's
agree.
okay. I'm still very excited for
Maybe
it.
I've not seen the second trailer.
don't
think
I
I've
saw a
seen it.
long
Okay,
trailer.
we'll watch it after
but then
this.
I was like,
No, the
still
first-
don't understand anything.
Yeah.
That's the
Maybe
best
that's the
way to
first
be,
one.
though. The first trailer was so much better. The second trailer was too much.
It was not needed. Oh well, here we are. So.
When is it coming
So
out?
before we go, because
My birthday.
Friday,
Wait, this week?
Friday.
Yeah.
Oh
this
shit!
week.
I
Yeah.
thought it was like 2 weeks from now.
Oh, I'm going Saturday.
Oh, you guys, I can't wait. You guys tell us what you think.
Yep, totally. We'll do.
Cool.
I'll
We're
be doing
very excited about it.
4DX for this one.
Ooh.
Oh,
Do
will
what?
you? Okay,
Yeah.
you go do your 4DX.
Oh, it is.
It's
It's on my
pull it up
Google.
on YouTube. Courtney, pull it up on YouTube.
Okay.
Just put 4DX. Type in 4DX experience. And there's a great video that basically shows you, not a demonstration, but it shows you all of that it does.
Okay.
It's an experience. It's an experience for sure.
Oh, I'm
It is an
jealous.
experience.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
So that's what you're doing, Patrick?
Yep.
4DX.
Oh.
I'm sure we don't have one.
Have
I'll do it.
fun.
Already
Yeah.
have the tickets.
Oh my God.
Look at
Tell
you.
us all about it. I can't wait.
The closest
Yep.
one is
Can't wait.
Atlanta. Not
Well, that's
surprised.
not far.
And then Regal Opry Mills.
Maybe we'll just
Dang.
come to you.
Hey. Yep, that'll work too.
So we've got
That'll work too.
Regal at Atlantic Station, which we know pretty well, and
But you can.
then you're the next one. That's how close we are.
Pro tip: you can get it. It's okay to have a drink. Do not get popcorn.
No.
Oh. What?
Unless you
Why?
can eat
Yeah,
it
yeah.
before
It's not-
unless you're gonna eat it before it starts.
Yep. Yep.
Do you throw it?
Watch the dem. Yep. Just watch the
Okay,
demonstration
just watch
video.
the-
and
okay.
it all will be explained.
Oh my God. I'm so
Yeah.
excited.
I took-
okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Top
Yeah, I took
Gun.
it. Gun, yes.
Okay.
And yes.
It was a lot of people's
I took
first
your-
time,
Yep.
and
It was
some of the
hilarious.
scenes, popcorn were just.
Awesome.
Yeah, they
I
didn't know
want
anybody.
to do this
I want
to
thing.
do
this
I want to
thing
go to
too.
there. All right.
I'm picturing the seats probably move
All right.
or something like you're
It's
on
like
a
a
ride.
Disney experience.
Yep.
I can't
right?
wait.
Yep. Pretty
All right.
much.
Okay. 4D. I get
All
it.
right.
Yay.
So
Well,
Thank y'all.
Thank
There you
you guys so much.
thank you. Hey, real quick, where can all the people find you? On all
Wait.
the things.
Oh,
www.thestrangesouth.com
yes. And at
Okay.
the Strange South.
Then
on Insta
On
and Twitter.
Yep.
And just search The Strange South on Facebook, and we're there.
Yeah. Do the Strange South
Indeed.
podcast.
Podcast. I was gonna
Podcast.
say, and-
Otherwise, you get the
Perfume.
perfumery,
Yes.
and which is awesome, but they're out of business, so we can't really support them anymore.
so
so we're on
suck it.
Apple, Spotify, all the
All the
things.
things.
All the things.
all things. And of course, Patreon and the Redbubble, just like.
And for
Find the
our
shop.
crossover, tell us where people can find you.
Oh yeah. Oh crap! I wasn't prepared for that.
I
one.
know.
See,
put
it's
on the
not just
spot.
us.
Yeah. See, that's what happens when you get moved around here, or it's switched up on you. Our group page is just Parental Advisory Movie Podcast. We have a Facebook group page, and then Instagram. It is oh Lord, got to pull it up. We had to do the underscore thing.
Oh,
Parental
yeah.
underscore advisory underscore movie underscore pod. But you type it in, you'll eventually find us. And then Twitter, Parental Advisory Pod, I think. But if you again search it, you'll find us.
And we'll put
then,
links on our
we're on-
podcast.
we-
too.
We will.
Yep. And then again, we're on all the things like y'all. We're on all the things: Apple, Google Play, Spotify. If you have a streaming or an audio podcast streaming service, we're more than likely on it.
Mhm.
So awesome! Thank you, everybody.
Thank
Bye,
you so
y'all.
much.
For
Take
sticking around for
care.
this very long episode.
Yay.
Indeed.